Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. I, the Ancestor of Uchiha, destroy Konoha at the start. Chapter 81. Wood-style wooden golem jutsu. Rumble. A big wooden hand drilled out of the ground in an instant. A huge crack opened in the entire earth in an instant. Huge hands supported the ground forcefully. The towering wooden golem suddenly drilled out of the ground. Hashirama jumped directly on top of wooden golem's head. Ninjas, this is the last war. Defeat Uchiha Muan and bring the whole ninja world back to peace. Above the towering wooden golem, Senju Hashirama's voice instantly spread across the battlefield. The speech of Senju Hashirama, the god of the ninja world, mobilized the momentum of the entire ninja alliance again. That is the god of the ninja world. With him leading the ninja coalition forces, there is absolutely a chance of winning. All the ninjas of the 5 major countries have a kind of courage in their lives. Luli also stretched her sleeves forward, and a sharp smile appeared at the corner of her mouth. The many wandering ninjas behind him instantly rushed forward in the direction she pointed. This group of ninjas from the 5 great nations, Laozi has long been displeased. Relying on the identity of the ninjas of the 5 great nations, I have always looked down on us ninjas in the small ninja village. This time let them know some of our greatness. Come on. Laozi saved a dying ninja and was inexplicably wanted by the 5 great nations, and kill these gangsters. The 5 great powers relied on their strength and secretly controlled the ninja world for many years. Many ninja villages are forced by their strength and can only obey their orders. Now, someone finally led them to counterattack and break away from the control of the 5 major powers. Everyone's emotions were mobilized, and they rushed in the direction of the Ninja Alliance. Want to change the entire ninja world. War is something that must be experienced. A screaming roar resounded across the sky in an instant. Almost even the clouds in the sky were washed away by the shocking air waves. The war broke out in an instant. Countless ninjas rushed together in an instant. All kinds of ninjutsu bloom in the sky. Countless sharp ninjas are flying all over the sky. The blood kept spreading, all kinds of crazy screams, and the wailing of dying instantly flooded the entire battlefield. The war has just begun, and it has reached its peak. Almost even Onoki was a little moved by the severity of the war. This is simply the reappearance of the Sengoku era. For this kind of war that engulfed all ninjas, Uchiha Madara's face did not show the slightest movement. This kind of war is the mainstream of the Sengoku era. Almost every day can witness the death of countless people. All people who have experienced the Sengoku era have long been used to blood and death. The sword in Susanoo's hand swung abruptly, raising a sharp blade. In an instant, a deep crack was cut on the ground. Uchiha Muan, you, Uchiha, an alien like you, shouldn't have existed in the world long ago. A cold smile appeared on Muan's face. As the blade turned, the biting cold air broke out in an instant. The surrounding environment instantly dropped to freezing point, and even the water vapor in the air condensed into a little bit of ice. A huge frost dragon instantly condensed out of midair. The ferocious dragon horns pierced the sky obliquely, and the sharp teeth in the dragon mouth. Almost like a living dragon. The scarlet Sharingan stared at Uchiha Madara instantly. There was a deep mocking look in his eyes. Even if his eternal Mangekyo is stripped of his body, Susanoo of this level can be broken with a finger. His eyes flashed, and a dragon chant resounded in the sky instantly. With a swing of the frost dragon's tail, the air in the sky instantly exploded. The whole dragon's body is wrapped directly on Susanoo. The huge Susanoo, under the scratch of the dragon's claws, burst into sparks of his debut. A thin layer of frost spread instantly. As the blade turned, a cold light gushed out in an instant. Senju Hashirama, who was standing on the top page of wooden golem's head, suddenly felt his skin tighten. The hands clasped together in an instant, and the huge chakra burst out in an instant. Wood-style Mu-long technique. A wooden dragon instantly grew from the body of wooden golem. In a blink of an eye, he was frozen into a cloud of ice mist by the bitter knife gas. Fortunately, this attack was blocked. Just when Muan wanted to attack again, 2 silhouettes full of electric lights appeared in front of him instantly. Lateral bolt of pain. Chop. The combined blow of 3rd Raikage and 4th Raikage made even Muan dare not underestimate it. In the entire ninja world, except for Might Guy, Raikage's ninjutsu can definitely shoot the top 3. Even the special horns on Eight Tails' heads can be directly cut off by a single-handed knife. If you underestimate the enemy, you may even hurt yourself. With a movement of his wrist, Hirinmaru stretched across his chest. The two-hand knives instantly bombarded the surface of the knife. Boom! There was a shocking explosion, and a huge force struck in an instant. Mu Yun's figure flew back involuntarily, erasing a long trace on the ground before stopping. The joint attack of the two Raikages really should not be underestimated. Even he couldn't resist that kind of huge power. At this moment, Senju Tobarama's hands were imprinted instantly, and his hands slapped on the ground. A vague wave of fluctuations instantly passed to Mu Yun's feet. Water-style water dragon bomb technique. A burst of scarlet light burst into Mu Yun's eyes. The fiery red Susanoo enveloped his entire body in the blink of an eye. A turbulent water flow instantly gushed from under Susanoo's feet, forming a healing water dragon. Opening his mouth wide, he bit Susanoo directly in his mouth and rushed straight into the sky. However, under Susanoo's envelope, Mu Yun received no harm. A sneer broke out at the corner of Tobarama's mouth. "No, it's up to you." Mu Yun, who was bitten in the mouth of the water spigot, raised his head instantly. I saw that second Tsuchikage was floating above his head. A sharp cone has been condensed in both palms, bursting with dazzling white light. Dust Escape Original Realm Stripping Technique. A dazzling white beam of light instantly enveloped the entire Susanoo and the entire water dragon. Suddenly, everything disappeared and disappeared instantly. Mu Yun's figure appeared on the ground, with a dignified look in his eyes. The dust-free escape is very troublesome. When his strength hasn't fully recovered, he can only avoid it temporarily. At this moment, Uzumaki Ashina, who had been silent next to him, suddenly formed a strange handprint in the hands of Ashina. At Mu Yun's feet, a complicated technique suddenly appeared. Slowly turning like a clock, Uzumaki Ashina's handprints changed instantly, and he uttered a word. "Uchiha Mu Yun, you are so far from the previous year, you are not our opponent at all." In the era of disputes during the Sengoku period, all kinds of amazing geniuses emerged one after another. Although the Otsutsuki clan was the most powerful at that time, it dominated the ninja world by virtue of the ninja tradition left by Sage of Six Paths. However, there are still many ninjas or clan strengths, so they don't want to provoke them easily. The Uzumaki family, who are good at sealing, is one of them. Once there was a descendant of Indra. Guy coveted the territory of the Uzumaki clan and led the family members to attack. Want the Uzumaki clan to submit to Otsutsuki. However, this extremely insulting practice directly angered Uzumaki Ashina, who was a mature man at the time. Immediately used an unpredictable sealing techniques, and directly sealed all the Otsutsuki tribesmen who had committed the crime on the beasts. You can't break away from the animal shape for life. This battle also started the Uzumaki family's prestige. In that turbulent era, the Uzumaki clan's clanland was peaceful. No one wants to anger these lunatics. Later, after Senju Hashirama won Mito's favor, the two clans gradually united. The battle to seal Uchiha Mu Yun, if Uzumaki Ashina and Mito did not participate in the battle. Even the people of the Senju and Sarutobi clan who die again, there is no way to seal him. This kind-looking old man was the most critical person of the year. Mu Yun is now in the sealing technique, and his entire body has been completely controlled. There is no way to move even a finger. It's this kind of powerful sealing technique again. You old fellow is really troublesome. The corner of Mu Yun's mouth raised a helpless smile, but the eyes that looked at Uzumaki Ashina were full of murderous intent. This old man looks very kind, but he has the sinisterness of Senju Tobarama. In that battle, he used Sarutobi Sasuke's death to find a flaw in Mu Yun. Use the unpredictable sealing technique to directly seal the ability of the slicing knife temporarily. Directly let Mu Yun's strength drop sharply. This led to the final sealed off. Even his own people are in his calculations, and Sarutobi Sasuke has not even realized that he is being used. Such people are very dangerous. HMPH, my old fellow is still the same, but you are not as good as before. Uzumaki Ashina shook his head slowly and sighed. In that era, you were the best among all ninjas. If you weren't that ambitious at the beginning, I really don't want to seal you. While talking, there was still a strong expression of Wan Shi on his face. People who don't know him will even be moved by his performance. However, Muan knew his face too well. Sinister, cunning and scheming. Had it not been dragged to death by Muan in the end, it is estimated that even the Senju clan could be controlled by Hashirama by him. It is really a terrible character. Patriarch Uzumaki, you don't need to have too much mercy on this kind of evil fellow. Directly seal him, clear his subordinates, and let the shinobi world return to peace. Senju Tobarama was full of justice, completely forgetting that this war was provoked by the 5 major powers. The gaze in Uzumaki Ashina's eyes flickered, and he seemed to have his own calculations. Boy Tobarama, what happened to the promised old man? It has been done, and you will surely return the Uzumaki clan to the ninja world. There was a smile on Uzumaki Ashina's face, and the handprint was aside again. In the art on the ground, a huge suction burst out instantly, slowly pulling Muyan's figure into it. At the moment when he was about to be pulled into the ground, Muyan suddenly sneered. Old guy, your condition is forbidden techniques such as reincarnation or dragon reincarnation, right? The Uzumaki clan was annihilated many years ago, and I want the Uzumaki clan to return to the land of the ninja world. Only those who have died will be resurrected. Although this kind of ninjutsu is rare, you can still find some in the world of ninjutsu. Muyan refers to the reincarnation of the 1,000 generations of Yisheng and the reincarnation of the dragon from Kaoyan village. Coupled with impure world reincarnation technique to restore the body to completeness, it can completely resurrect people who have been dead for many years. Police Uzumaki Ashina glanced at Muyan, who was in the sealing technique, with a relaxed smile on his face. What's the matter? If you didn't slaughter many masters, why did my Whirlpool clan fall into the state of extinction? A sneer appeared at the corner of Muyan's mouth, and his eyes were full of mockery. Although your abacus is playing loud, it still has to fall into the empty space. As soon as the voice fell, Muyan's body instantly turned into a piece of dry and rotten wood. A mocking face of a clown is also depicted on it. Wood-style clone. Uzumaki Ashina was shocked instantly. From the start of the war to the present, Muyan has never used Wood-style's abilities. Even back then, he had just obtained the blood succession limit of Wood-style and was already sealed. It didn't play any role at all. He did not expect that he had already used Wood-style proficiently. At this moment, a sharp knife light struck in an instant. The bitter cold air instantly covered his entire body with frost. Senju Tobarama's face changed instantly. Once slashed by that knife, Muyan can completely slay his soul while he is recovering. In this war, Uzumaki Ashina is the most critical person to fight Muyan. Anyone can die, but he can't. Flying Thunder God Technique. The figure flashed, and instantly came to Ashina's side. The Flying Thunder God was activated again, and the figures of the two disappeared instantly. Only half of the body covered with frost was left on the ground. Muyan lightly waved Zanpakuto in his hand, and half of his body was instantly frozen and cracked into ice mist in the sky. A strong man in the Sengoku period, who didn't have troublesome ninjutsu. It is not easy to wipe out one of them completely. And Muyan held Hirinmaru across his chest, and his bright blade reflected his scarlet Sharingan clearly. Zanpakuto's power to kill the soul can only be used when the blade touches the enemy's body. That kind of icy sword energy can only kill the body, but it cannot have the effect of killing the soul. Moreover, his current strength is indeed a big gap compared to before. The enemy's strength is stronger than it was in the past. It seems that we are about to fall into a bitter battle. At this moment, the space around him was instantly distorted by a force. A figure flashed out of it. Master Muyan, it's not too late for me to come. Muyan raised a smile at the corner of his mouth, and said without surprise. It's not too late, the show has just begun, you. Uchiha Obito was originally Konoha's ninja, but in the Battle of Kakashi, Iwagakure's ninjutsu hit half of his body in order to save Kakashi. When he was about to die, his Mangekyo opened instantly. The whole body completely entered his time and space, and only one phantom sank into the ground. It's so nice to fall into the cave where Uchiha Madara was at that time. At that time, Madara had fallen into old age on the verge of death, and it was only possible to survive the world with chakra provided by Gedo statue. If you want to restore his previous peak strength, you must find a spokesperson to replace him in the ninja world. Using his Rinnegan, used the revolving heaven technique to resurrect him. After that, it absorbed the 9 big-tailed beasts and became the Jinchuriki of 10 tails. Master the power of yin and yang, gain the power of 6 paths. Become the new master of the ninja world. This plan was accidentally obtained by Madara from Uchiha Muyan's 553, back then. He didn't believe it at first, but when he transplanted the flesh and blood of Hashirama to himself, he fully integrated the power of Senju and Uchiha into himself. And, after successfully opening Rinnegan on the verge of death, he is convinced of this plan. The moment I saw Uchiha Obito, I decided to control Obito as his resurrection pawn. Using Lin's death, Obito plunged into darkness. And he had implanted a curse seal in his heart that he couldn't break by himself. Let Obito take all his orders. After that, everything Obito did was actually part of Madara's control. Of course, his own despair in this world is also the key to Madara's control over him. However, in Muyan's Tsukuyomi the Abyss, he has experienced at least 1,000 years of reincarnation. In every life, he can resurrect Lin and go on a happy life in illusion. Until one day, after another great war, he succeeded in becoming Hokage. Lin, who had been fond of her for a long time, also confessed to him. Even Kakashi is no longer his opponent, and willingly becomes his escort. That unreal feeling instantly awakened him. Fake is fake, illusion is only the illusion in the heart after all. When all people live according to the script he wants, such days are scarier than hell. After he was sober, Muyan broke the curse that Madara had implanted in his body. Let him completely out of Madara's control. After successfully regaining his freedom, he realized the darkness of Konoha. Also understood Madara's conspiracy, and want to reverse all this and let true peace descend on the entire ninja world. Become the dream world that Lin hopes. Only one person has the strength to do it. Uchiha Muyan. Everything he did afterwards was not controlled by anyone. He just follows the person who can build new world again, and will truly realize Lin's dream. Instead of passing through that illusory world of illusion. Therefore, when he learned that the 5 major countries were about to go to war with Uchiha Muyan, he decided to join the war immediately. It took him so long to come here, entirely because he also made some preparations. Staring at the face of Muyan smiling confidently, Obito's heart was also calm. This is already the final goal that can support him to live, and it must not be destroyed by anyone. Even if the entire ninja realm is the enemy, it will not hesitate. Master Muyan, during the period after you left, I also summoned those ninjas according to your instructions. The current Akatsuki will definitely surprise you. A smile appeared at the corner of Obito's mouth, as if the younger generation showed off their strength in front of the elders. However, although there was no accident, Muyan showed a hint of curiosity and cooperation. After all, he is Uchiha's younger generation, now that he has recovered himself. If you are an ancestor, you should naturally take care of the emotions of the younger generation. Obito stretched out his hand and snapped his fingers, and several figures appeared next to him in an instant. All are dressed in red cloud windbreakers, with rings that symbolize status on their fingers. Only on the back of the red cloud windbreaker, a logo of a group fan was portrayed. That is, the emblem of the Uchiha family. It is also a symbol of Muyan's subordinates. Pain 6 Paths, Angel Konan, Sasori of Red Sand, Hoshigaki Kisame. Akatsuki Organization, all members are here. There was a frantic smile longing for war on everyone's face. That kind of evil feeling brought unlimited oppression to the ninja coalition. Even Oyemu's eyes were instantly enlightened. An old face was full of incredible colors. Deidara, why are you mixing up with this group of people? Don't you get out of here soon? Deidara is a disciple of Onoki, who has been carefully taught by him since he was a child. 0. He is the best candidate for the next Tsuchikage in his mind. However, Deidara's temperament is completely out of his control. Claiming that the explosion is art, let the entire ninja world witness his art. After that, he defected to Rock Shinobi and remained silent. However, Onogi couldn't imagine that he actually joined the Akatsuki organization. That is the power of Uchiha Muyan. To join it means to be an enemy of the entire ninja world. In the end, there is only one dead end. Hearing his angry shout, Deidara grinned. Old man, you are already confused. What the ninja world needs now is change, not an unchanging conspiracy. My art will eventually ring through the entire ninja world in this transformation. At the same time, 4th Mizukage Yagura of Impure World Reincarnation also spotted Hoshigaki Kisame among Akatsuki's crowd. Kisame, did you also defect to Kurigakure? Hoshigaki Kisami's face showed a hideous smile, and the sharp gills on both sides of his cheeks were faintly shaking. It's not Mist Shinobi who betrayed me, but Mist Shinobi who betrayed me. In the endless betrayal, I can't find the meaning of life at all. Only by eradicating all the corrupt high levels can the ninja world return to peace. What? Hoshigaki Kisami's previous mission was to betray and kill continuously. The so-called are just the interests of certain high-level people. The entire ninja of Mist Shinobi has become a tool in their hands. This scene almost made him desperate. Finally, Obito will bring him a new direction. Let him finally find the value and meaning of life. If you want to accomplish a big thing, there must be sacrifice. This is what you taught me. Hoshigaki Kisame drew the big knife Samahata from the back and pointed it at 4th Mizukage in the crowd. It's self-evident who the goal of the sacrifice is. There was a smile at the corner of Obito's mouth, even under the strong suppression of the 5 great powers. After all, I can find some companions who identify with me. Lin, your dream will be realized by me. In a pair of scarlet Sharingan, 2 completely different Mangekyo emerged. From now on, I will change the whole world. The world of shinobi during the Sengoku period was chaotic and disorderly. Whoever has the stronger power will have the master's absolute right to speak. In the creation of Ninja Village, the 5 great powers are still more powerful, and there are many traces of conspiracy. Suppress the entire ninja world with absolute force, and then use the soft policy to preach morality and justice to the civilians. Establish a glorious and stalwart image for them. There are even more dirty trades between countries. The hero of Sunagakure, Scorch-style Yekora, was betrayed by the Kingdom of Wind. In order to stop the fighting, he betrayed him to the enemy ninja. A generation of heroes finally died under the sneak attack of countless enemy ninjas. And it was the village he was loyal to who betrayed her. Konoha Shinobi, Hitaki Sakumo, known as Konoha's White Fang, made great achievements in the ninja war. However, in the end, he gave up the character because he saved his companions, and was accused by Chinfu. Finally, he was forced to commit suicide by rumors. At that time, the Konoha executives did not say a word for him. Instead, his son Kakashi also joined Anbu and experienced the brainwashing that all ninjas have experienced. In the end, was influenced by the hypocritical third Hokage's will and became a sharp knife in Konoha's hand. Similar things are definitely no longer a minority among the 5 major countries. Those who were supposed to be heroes were betrayed by their loyal villages for various reasons, and they didn't understand everything until they died. Even the whole life is controlled by the darkness of the village, becoming a tool-like existence. In the end, the blade was blunt and was ruthlessly abandoned. Many ninjas who have been brainwashed since childhood are completely unaware of these things. However, there are always some people in the ninja world whose will not be easily affected. For example, those who defected from various ninja villages, willing to be a wandering ninja, or simply become bandits and gangsters, are not willing to work for the village anymore. They are the backbone of overthrowing the old order of shinobi. Seeing the scene where Akatsuki appeared, Luli's face showed a smile again. Money is impressive, but it is insignificant compared to life. She was able to hire so many exiled ninjas to participate in this war, definitely not because of money. Among them, a large part of them are ninjas who were involved in the war between the 5 major powers and eventually broke down. The hatred for the 5 major countries, and the high levels who have long been rotten, have long been full of anger. Even if they don't have Luli's money, they will do their best for their dead relatives and for their offspring to stop following their old paths. Overthrow the 5 major countries and build a dream new world. The wandering ninja on Muyun's side burst out with a strong aura again. Numerous wandering ninjas stared with red eyes, and pierced the ninja in their hands deeply into the body of the 5-nation ninja. Even if his abdomen has long been penetrated by the sharp kunwu, even if the power in the body has already slowly left his body, there is no hesitation. Among them, a wandering ninja wearing Konoha's forehead protector is even more crazy. The long ninja sword in his hand had long been stained red with blood. The blade is full of gaps, as if it will instantly collapse in the next collision. However, there was no trace of fear on his face. A pair of eyes were red, and they were filled with bitter hatred. He was betrayed by the village back then, although he escaped by chance. But his wife and daughter were all killed in the chaos. Hatred has tortured him for hundreds of days and nights. Knowing that someone dared to fight Konoha, and even the whole ninja world. Without saying a word, he directly took out the samurai long sword that his wife gave him, and carved a deep scratch on Konoha's forehead protector. He didn't feel a bit moved by Luli's huge promise. Even before joining the war, he transferred all his property to an old woman who lived nearby. Resolutely went to the battlefield. When he came this time, he didn't even want to go back alive. I just want to avenge the tragic death of his wife and daughter with his own long knife. For the establishment of the new order, contribute a part of one's own strength. Snapped. The long knife in his hand finally broke every inch in the collision again. His brows only frowned slightly. Without hesitation, he pulled out the kunai that was deeply inserted in his abdomen, and took the opportunity to stroke the enemy's neck. It seemed that he didn't care about his life or death at all, but just tried his best to kill one more enemy before he died. That kind of desperate fight, the belief that doesn't care about death. The whole battlefield was staged again everywhere, and the blood spattered. The corpses of nameless wandering ninjas fell one by one, but more people rushed from behind. Almost all of the entire battlefield was stained red by the bloodline that was sprayed out. Step on it with one foot, and the splattered blood can dye all the trousers red. Throughout the battlefield, there was already a long red river condensed by blood. Every time I breathe, I can feel a strong bloody smell around the mouth and nose. However, only a few people backed down. The vacancy that retreated was filled by more ninjas in a blink of an eye. The front line, never retreat. Let's die. However, there are many ninjas in the 5 countries. After a long time of training, both ninjutsu and physique are much better than wandering ninjas. Except for the puppet master led by the 1000th-generation mother-in-law, almost all of them were defeated. Even the county department next to Luli was moved by this belief in fear of death. I don't care about the chakra in my body, he releases ninjutsu in his hand non-stop. Like a big mountain, it abruptly blocks the enemy's attack. Hold it, you must hold it. At this moment, a group of ninjas wearing rain shinobi forehead protector suddenly appeared on the battlefield. Everyone kept handprints in his hands, and the water-attributed chakra instantly condensed in his hands. Water-style Sayu is a thread. A large continuous stream of rain shot out from their hands in an instant. Drops of rain continued to form a series of crystal threads, which instantly penetrated the enemy's chest. A named rain shinobi shouted the name of pain and stood in front of everyone. With the water style specially developed for war, the battle situation that is about to collapse is abruptly pulled back. Muan glanced in the direction of the battlefield. Hirinmaru in his hand burst into a bitter chill again. In a pair of scarlet Sharingan, a shocking killing intent bloomed. Those people have done what they can do. The rest is up to me. The war can go to such a tragic level that even the incumbents of the 5 major powers are somewhat unexpected. The army of those wandering ninjas had no one in their eyes. In their expectation, it should be a collapsed situation. Unexpectedly, it would be so anxious that the elites of the 5 major powers have been unable to attack for a long time. This scene in front of me has caused a question in everyone's mind. Did the 5 great nations provoke so many enemies in silence? Or is the personal charm of Uchiha Muan so strong that so many ninjas are willing to work hard? The elites of all countries who are fighting on the battlefield are all photographed by the belief that they are not afraid of death. The momentum is a bit sluggish. Don't be soft, these people are already controlled by Uchiha's Sharingan. We can't help them relieve the illusion, it is better to help them relieve the pain. Kill them all, and a peace in the ninja world. Obito's face was full of surprise, and then a burst of laughter broke out. The 5 big countries are still so shameless. 2 completely different Mangekyo suddenly turned in their eye sockets, and the whole person instantly hollow. Directly block Yagura and Luo Sha who wanted to shoot. The Akatsuki group behind him also took out their ninjas. They found their opponents one after another. Hidan, an undead ninja who only believes in Cthulhu, rushed into the battlefield with a wild laugh. There was a Jinghell smile on his face, frantically waving the three-edged giant sickle in his hand. Disrupt the entire battlefield into chaos. A guy like Uchiha Muan, how come so many masters are willing to work for him? The vortex Ashana formed a handprint, and a beam of light appeared out of thin air. Directly resist Kakuzu's fire style. Senju Hashirama on the side also used wood style to block Hoshigaki Kisami's water style. This is the scary thing about him. In the Sengoku period, many people from different families were willing to work for him. I didn't expect it to be like this now. This sentence silenced all ninjas who had experienced the Sengoku era. This guy seems to have many followers wherever he goes. Is this guy's pupil power strong enough to control everyone? Or is our approach wrong? This idea was immediately dispelled by everyone the moment it just appeared. For thousands of years, the ninja world has spent no time in chaos, and the establishment of a ninja village has suppressed this chaos to a minimum. The sacrifices are just a few people who have no value at all. This approach is absolutely correct. Uchiha Madara manipulated Susanoo and instantly chopped Sasori's puppet to pieces. Two azure blue war knives raised their heads in an instant. Sasori severely chopped off when it was too late to summon a new puppet. Boom! A drum-like roar was instantly transmitted to everyone's ears. The loud sound made people's eardrums hurt. Uchiha Muyan's tall and straight figure is standing beside Sasori. The Zanpakudo in his hand was inserted diagonally into the sky, and a transparent round ice burst instantly on the tip of the knife. You can still see countless tiny ice flowers circulating in them. Blocking the long sword in Susao's hand, no matter how Madara exerted her pupil power, no crack appeared. Edged ice array. Sasori hurriedly unrolled a scroll, a burst of white smoke flashed by, and instantly took out the third cage puppet. Master Muyan, I can handle this guy. Muyan held the knife in his left hand, and looked at Madara's eyes and said flatly. If you can't handle it, go and help Obito. Sasori nodded, without any nonsense. The chakra silk thread in his hand pulled strongly, and the puppets of third cage were evacuated in an instant. Looking at Uchiha Muyan, who was holding a knife in one hand, a smile appeared on Madara's mouth. You don't even own Sharingan's power right now, and even Susanoo is only half length, so what do you use to compete with me? The patterns in Muyan's Sharingan are obviously not his previous eyes. You know, most of the strength of the Uchiha clan comes from the pair of Sharingan. The Uchiha clan who lost Sharingan will lose more than half of their own strength. Madara was afraid of Muyan before, because his eternal Mangekyo is stronger than his own. Now, he hasn't even recovered his pupil power, and he can't even turn on Susanoo in full body. What else is terrible? Muyan also showed a smile at the corner of his mouth, holding the knife in his left hand without moving, and instantly forming a few handprints on his right hand. The chakra of water and soil properties condense around him in an instant. Wood-style wooden golem jutsu. Rumble. There was a muffled noise on the entire ground, and a towering wooden golem instantly stood up from under the ground. The huge size is much higher than that of Madara's Susanoo. The comparison between the two is like an adult compared to a teenager. Muyan held Hiranmaru upside down, standing proudly on top of wooden golem's head. A pair of scarlet Sharingan, looking down at the small Susanoo below. That pair of Sharingan is your crazy capital. Uchiha Madara's pupils dilated instantly, and his face was full of disbelief. Hashirama's cells are also transplanted into his body, and wood style can also be used. However, such a huge wooden golem jutsu, let alone him. Even Senju Hashirama personally performed it. I am afraid it does not have this scale. Senju Hashirama on the side was also surprised. His wood style has been able to achieve its current strength only after many years of practice. Muyan has just returned from the wet-bone forest, and it is already shocking to be able to use the wood-style clone. Now even the power of wooden golem jutsu has far surpassed him. In front of him, the two geniuses of himself and Madara seemed too mediocre. Madara, join hands, you alone are not his opponent. Senju Hashirama jumped to Madara's side and folded his hands in an instant. Li Hao. Wood-style wooden golem jutsu. A wooden golem, one size smaller than Muyan's wooden golem, instantly stood up from the ground and was blocking between Muyan and Madara. Madara cursed fiercely, and the pupils in her eyes moved. The majestic Susanoo instantly opened up like an armor, and wrapped it all over Wooden Golem's body. Madara and Hashirama stood among the diamond-shaped crystals on Susanoo's forehead at the same time. The power of the two is perfectly integrated under the cooperation of the two. It's a long-lost feeling, Madara. No nonsense. If it weren't for fighting Muan, I wouldn't join you. At the moment they talked, a huge fist hit Wooden Golem's chin fiercely. The immense power instantly caused Wooden Golem's figure to fall back several steps. The wood on the entire chin was directly broken into a large piece. Have you heard of boxing? Two almost the same towering giants are standing opposite each other on the earth. The difference is that Wooden Golem of Madara and Hashirama holds his chin. In the palm of the hand, large pieces of sawdust were constantly falling. And Muyan's Wooden Golem is posing in a boxing pose. Before they could react, they punched Wooden Golem's eye socket again. The huge Wooden Golem took a few steps back again, before he could stand firm. Muyan's Wooden Golem stepped forward again, completely suppressing it, and even the long knife from Susa's waist was too late to pull out. The shadow of the fist filled the sky, like a violent storm. Chest, knees, shoulders, waist and eyes. Every location that can cause huge injuries is Muyan's target. I saw that countless sawdust splashed out all around under his blow. The sawdust that hit the entry board hit the ground fiercely and splashed a piece of dust. Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama were completely beaten up, only knowing that Muyan's attack was taking place with their arms in front of them. I don't know how to fight back at all. In the battle that year, the two also played against Muyan with Wooden Golem. However, at that time, Muyan just relied on Susanoo, who was completely body, to resist the sword. After losing his own pupil power, he also lost his complete Susanoo. Even if he can use Wooden Golem jutsu, it shouldn't be the case with Wooden Golem's opponent. Unexpectedly, he even concealed this kind of physical skill that specializes in striking vitals. The two were caught off guard, and even the long knife from Susa's waist was too late to pull out. Completely in a passively beaten situation, Wooden Golem's footsteps retreated again and again. Almost back to the edge of the Valley of the End. Might Guy, who was fighting Hoshigaki Kisame, saw Muyan's physical skills, his eyes lit up instantly. With his eyesight as a master of physical skills, of course, he can see the unusualness of this set of physical skills. It is completely different from Hyuga's gentle fist, and it is also completely different from the steel fist he cultivated. There is no flashy movement, although it does not look very beautiful. However, every move is to attack the vitals of the body. Not the joints or the weak points of the human body. If the subject were replaced by a flesh and blood person, it would have fallen to the ground after repeated punches a long time ago. This kind of physical skill has simply subverted Guy's cognition. It can be seen that this set of physique is still very sloppy. It's almost like it was created on the spot by Muyan, and there was even a slight pause between the attacks. It seems to be thinking about the next attack method and location. If you give Guy some time, perfect this kind of physical skills. His strength can be upgraded by at least one level. Where are you looking? Samahata in Hoshigaki Kisame's hands slammed Guy's body fiercely. If it weren't for him to recover at the critical moment, he would use double attack teeth to block it. Now, already seriously injured. The physical skill is so strong that it is almost a rare beast, but if you are distracted, you can only be served on the barbecue table. Hoshigaki Kisame was obviously full of Guy's absent-mindedness, a pair of small yellow eyes and pupils trembling violently. Samahata in his hand did not show any mercy, and madly attacked Guy. He didn't realize that Guy was his natural nemesis. Had it not been for the distraction of Muyan's physical skills, it is estimated that he would no longer be an opponent. At this time, Madara and Hashirama finally reacted after getting more than a dozen punches. Spreading his hands out of the long knife at his waist, he turned his body and swept straight ahead. The sharp blade light burst into the air with a sharp noise. It makes people's eardrums sore. Muyan smiled slightly, and even retracted Hiranmaru into the scabbard, and stood with his arms around his chest. Even Zanpakuto can't be used to deal with these two people. Wooden Golem was short, and instantly flashed the sweeping long knife. He hit an uppercut with his left hand and hit Wooden Golem's waist severely. The huge power instantly penetrated Susanoo's protection, smashing the wooden golem into a deep hole. The tattered sawdust hit the ground fiercely, splashing dust. A trace of anger flashed across Madara's face. With so many ninja coalition forces, he and Hashirama's case was lost to Muan alone. What face does he have to say that he is the patriarch of Uchiha? A face has long been deformed and distorted because of anger. Shout out in Muan's direction. Too much deception. Boom. What responded to him was a fist that hit Susa Wooden Golem's face. Wooden Golem's face was directly smashed in half by this fierce punch, and it looked extremely miserable. Uchiha Muan, you. Boom. This time, it hit Susa Wooden Golem's abdomen with a punch, and the entire Wooden Golem's body was arched like a shrimp. Madara's face was full of anger, and she quickly controlled Susa Wooden Golem and pulled out the long knife on the other side. As soon as the blade was pulled out halfway, Muan's Wooden Golem kicked it on the handle. He just pulled out half of the long knife, and immediately retracted it back into its sheath. Taking advantage of the flow, he blasted Susa Wooden Golem's face again. At this time, the entire Wooden Golem is no longer visible in human form. The place that was supposed to be the face had already been completely blasted. If the limbs were not kept basically intact, they looked like a huge rotten wooden pile. The faces of Madara and Hashirama are full of anger. With a fist, he immediately pierced the long knife in his hand towards Muan. However, Muan's Wooden Golem only patted the back of his hand. The long knife in Susao's hand changed hands instantly, leaving the two of them completely confused. Guy, who was fighting Kisame at that time, his eyes lit up again. It's a clever way of letting go. Then, it was in the hands of Hoshigaki Kisame. The muscles pat directly on the fly. Let a burst of anger fill his heart. I have never seen anyone learning while fighting. Guy is also the first in the history of Ninja World. On the other side, Muan's Wooden Golem took Suzu's long knife in his hand and skillfully pulled a knife. With a turn of the blade, Suzu Wooden Golem's arm was immediately cut off. Progress stepped forward, hitting a bottom-up uppercut, severely hitting Susa Wooden Golem's chin. The huge force directly hit the huge Suzu Wooden Golem directly into the air. With one kick out, he kicked directly to the bottom of the valley of the end. Boom! The huge size hit the ground fiercely. Even the hole hitting ground shuddered fiercely, and a thick smoke splashed out. A long knife slashed across the sky in an instant. Suzu Wooden Golem, who was about to get up again, was nailed to the ground fiercely. Muan's Wooden Golem jumped down and crushed his head severely with one foot. At the same time, Muan's hands instantly formed Mudra. Water-style water-severing wave. The fierce water column instantly zoomed in Madara's Sharingan. Don't come here in a hurry to dodge. Water-severing wave is a ninjutsu developed by second Hokage Senju Tobirama. The huge water flow is condensed and sprayed out on a small area. Almost any item can be cut off. In the Sengoku period, it was even known as the strongest water-style ninjutsu. Muan, who has 5 full attributes of chakra, learned this ninjutsu just by watching Tobirama cast it once. Released from his hand, it is no weaker than Tobirama's use. The power is even worse. Once cut by the water-severing wave, even the bodies of Hashirama and Madara will be cut in half instantly. Even if impure world reincarnation can guarantee that the two will not die, it will take the time to recover their bodies. The soul will be destroyed by Zanpakuto. It completely disappeared in the ninja world, and all from the body to the soul died. Moreover, at this time, the only Tobirama who could save them with Flying Thunder God was already entangled by Akatsuki. I can't get rid of it at all. Namikaze Minato was not on the battlefield at all for some reason. It can be said that the two have a completely mortal ending. At this moment, there was a strange pulse in Madara's eyes. Pounding. The eternal Mangekyo in his eyes burst out in the blink of an eye. A purple light instantly emerged from the depths of his pupils. In an instant, it filled the entire pupil. A majestic pupil power instantly flowed from his eyes. Muan's water style fell directly into his palm and disappeared instantly. It seems that it has never appeared before. Seeing Madara's lavender eyes, Muan's mouth turned into a smile. Sure enough, you awakened Rinnegan before you died. After hearing Muan's words, Hashirama on the side looked into Madara's eyes instantly. The expression on his face was stunned for a moment, and the whole face was full of unbelievable color. Rinnegan, you awakened Rinnegan. In the ninja world, there has been a legend that has been circulating. A long time ago, there were no ninjas in the world. At that time, the battle between countries was still dominated by warriors. Until a white-haired woman fell from the sky, and on the earth, a huge god-tier tree was planted straight into the sky. The sacred tree bears a fruit, which contains the most primitive chakra. The woman who descended from the sky swallowed the fruit of the sacred tree into her abdomen and gave birth to chakra in her body. After that, with the powerful power of chakra, the war in the ninja world was ended. The woman who fell from the sky, don't respectfully call it the goddess of Mao. After that, the goddess Uyoshi was blessed by people and gave birth to 2 sons. One is called Otsutsuki Hagoromo, and the other is called Otsutsuki Hamura. Both sons, like their mothers, are born with chakra energy in their bodies. The goddess Yu of Yu has an incomparable power, and is gradually swallowed by power and desire. In the end, the 2 sons joined forces and sealed it. Among them, the eldest son Yuya opened his eyes to control life and death in the battle. 9 beasts were created with yin and yang escape, and then the power of the sacred tree was injected into it to form the 9 big-tailed beasts in the ninja world. After that, he spread the chakra practice method to the entire ninja world. Founded ninja sect and taught the world to use the power of chakra to protect themselves. This is the initial prototype of the ninja. And the Yuya that spreads all this is even more respected by the world as Sage of 6 Paths. And Madara's awakened eyes are Rinnegan that only Sage of 6 Paths has for thousands of years. The master reincarnates in life and death, completely controlling the eyes of 6 Paths. All the pupil skills passed down in the ninja world come from Rinnegan. In the eyes of Akatsuki's organization, pain had the appearance of Rinnegan. But the pupil power is too thin, and the pupil power of the 6 pairs of eyes is not too strong. It didn't attract Hashirama's attention at all. But now Madara's awakened eyes contain the full power of 6 Paths. Even Hashirama could feel the immense pupil power in it. These are the eyes of Sage of 6 Paths. Even Senju Uma, who was fighting Akatsuki again, almost froze on the spot. He just adjusted the age for Madara's impure world reincarnation and added Hashirama's wood style again. The matter of him owning Rinnegan is vague. Uchiha Madara, he put one on top. Madara concealed this matter. She must be thinking of using Rinnegan's power to conquer the entire ninja world after sealing Uchiha Muan again. Unexpectedly, he was forced to be exposed in advance by Muan. Uchiha Madara stood up slowly from the broken wooden golem. There was a mocking smile at the corner of his mouth, and the expression on his face was full of madness. Spread his hands out, as if holding the entire ninja world in his hands. Unexpectedly, what you imagined back then was realized in my body. What you didn't do, but I did it, it is enough to prove that I am better than you. Madara glanced at Pen 6 Paths, who was fighting impure world reincarnation. If I guessed correctly, the 6 puppets will be controlled by the boy Nagato, right? Those eyes were transplanted from my body. There are only 2 pairs of Rinnegan, Sage of 6 Paths and in the entire ninja world. Me, Uchiha Madara. Senju Hashirama's face was instantly surprised. In the entire history of ninja world, no one has opened such legendary eyes. How did Madara get it? Hashirama was taken aback, and instantly remembered what Madara said when she left Konoha. What Uchiha Muan said is true. Only by combining the powers of Senju and Uchiha, can you gain the power of all phenomena. At that time, Hashirama naively thought that the power of the fusion of Senju and Uchiha was the combination of the 2. Now I finally thought that Madara bit her own piece of meat in the Valley of the End again. When he was in impure world reincarnation, Tobirama said that Madara had transplanted that piece of meat to himself. Could this be the real fusion of the power of Senju and Uchiha? Is the real way to start Rinnegan? Hashirama's guess is good, but it is not entirely correct. To turn on Rinnegan, it does not require the fusion of Senju and Uchiha. It's the fusion of Ashura and Indra Chakra. However, Madara and Hashirama are the reincarnations of Indra and Ashura. So after Madara was able to gain the power of Hashirama, Rinnegan was turned on. Muan also wanted to capture Hashirama's power first, then transplant Madara's eyes and turn on Rinnegan. However, now he has changed his mind. Recovering your own eyes and absorbing Naruto and Sasuke's chakra can also turn on Rinnegan. Moreover, my own eyes are better than others' eyes. However, Uchiha Madara is not aware of these matters. After revealing Rinnegan, he is infinitely arrogant. There is a kind of haki in the eyes. Even Uchiha Muan is no longer in his eyes. How ridiculous people are ignorant. A cold smile appeared on the corner of Muyan's mouth, and Zanpakuto on his waist appeared instantly. A sharp blade of light flashed across the sky in an instant. Uchiha Madara put a smile on the corner of her mouth, and stretched out a hand confidently. Ignorance, all ninjutsu, before these eyes, are useless. Boom. Seeing Muan shot again, Uchiha Madara's face was mocking. Rinnegan has the power of 6 paths, among which the evil Kido's ability can restore all ninjutsu to the original chakra, and then absorb it into the body. All ninjutsu, for those who own Rinnegan, are useless. It seems that Muan doesn't believe that I own Rinnegan at all. But that's right. After all, you have planned for many years, but I was the first to make it. Let's make you completely desperate. Thinking of this, Uchiha Madara stretched out her palm with a flat face. One of the 6 paths, the evil Kido's ability is instantly activated. Even Hashirama on the side saw this scene with a look of surprise on his face. The moment when the water-severing wave was absorbed into the body by Madara, he saw clearly from the side. Moreover, Rinnegan's power he has also read records in an ancient book. 557. All ninjutsu is meaningless to the owner of Rinnegan. However, after Muan knew about this, he waved his hand and released an ice escape. This is completely meaningless. Could it be that this guy didn't realize this at all? In Hashirama's surprised eyes, Uchiha Madara's mad eyes. The bitter cold air instantly touched Madara's palm. Boom! The surging cold exploded in an instant. One of Madara's palm was frozen into ice in the blink of an eye. The azure blue light flowed through the arm, in a blink of an eye. It blasted into a cloud of ice and fog. How can it be? Madara's expression changed in an instant, and her entire face was covered with disbelief. Rinnegan's ability is to absorb all ninjutsu. However, it has absolutely no effect on Muyan's ice escape. It has not been converted to the original chakra, and it has not been absorbed by him. How can this be? Rinnegan didn't even play any role. Isn't his ability an ordinary ice escape? Uchiha Madara was in horror. A pair of Rinnegan widened to the limit, staring at Muan in front of him. I couldn't believe that Rinnegan had no effect on his ninjutsu. Even Hashirama, who was on the side, had a look of surprise on his face. Madara's pair of Rinnegan contains very strong pupil power, far surpassing the eternal Sharingan before him. Rinnegan should be the only person with such a strong pupil power. However, how can the ice escape of Muan not be absorbed? Could it be that this guy has surpassed Sage of 6 Paths? Seeing the expressions on the faces of the two, there was no surprise on Muyan's face. Hiranmaru is the strongest of all ice and snow Zanpakuto and belongs to the Shinigami world. No matter how strong Rinnegan's power is, it can only target the power of the Hokage world. The chill of Hiranmaru is completely different from chakra. It also contains a trace of soul power. A pair of Rinnegan, like restraining Zanpakuto. Dream. Flip the wrist, and once again the knife slashes down. The sharp blade light instantly tore the air in front of you. The sharp tearing sound instantly awakened Uchiha Madara, who doubted his life. This time, he didn't dare to use the evil Kido's ability to absorb it. Raising the palm of his hand quickly, Rinnegan's eyes exploded with extremely strong pupil power. A huge repulsive force burst out from his palm in an instant. Shen Luo Tianzheng. The huge repulsive force instantly exploded around Madara's body. Blow everything around. Even Senju Hashirama couldn't help backing more than a dozen copies, trying his best to stop. Looking up at Madara's discovery, there was a trace of cold sweat on her forehead. Is this the power of Rinnegan? Madara, who has gained this power, has risen a lot from his previous strength. Now, it is estimated that he has surpassed his strength. This old opponent for many years has unknowingly reached a place farther than himself. At this moment, the sharp blade instantly slashed down. There was a huge sound of gold and iron clashing in the air, and the ears of everyone around were sore by the sound. In the horrified eyes of Hashirama and Madara, the sharp sword tore through all the repulsive power of Shinra Tianzhong. However, the repulsive force was too great after all, and it still deflected the sharp blade a little. Madara had only half of his arm left, and was instantly cut off by the knife. Falling on the ground, it froze into a mass of ice. Even Shenluo Tianzhong can't resist his blade. Madara's eyes widened to the limit in an instant. The face is full of horror. 0. Since Dainian Mu Yun began to rise, he has been suppressed. Never surpassed him. Unexpectedly, even after acquiring Rinnegan, would he still not be his opponent? Had it not been for he could clearly feel the powerful pupil power in his eyes now. I have to wonder if my eyes are fake. Senju Hashirama on the other side was even more shocked. That's Rinnegan. Sage of Six Paths' eyes are clear. Control the power of life and death. With such a powerful force, his Mu Yun's long knife was also instantly broken. How powerful is his power? Already surpassed Sage of Six Paths. In fact, Mu Yun's current power is still a long way from Sage of Six Paths. Rinnegan is powerful, but it also depends on who uses it. Nagato transplanted Madara's Rinnegan since he was a child. However, with his strength, even Pen had to put a black stick on his back to control Six Paths. After Obito, he controlled the beast-like Pen's Six Paths, but he could do it with only one Rinnegan's pupil power. Sage of Six Paths can even use Rinnegan's yin and yang ability to create 9 big-tailed beasts out of thin air, and let Chakra's words of strength produce life. Madara's strength is far from that of Sage of Six Paths. Moreover, Impure World Reincarnation is able to give full play to the strength of his life. However, those eyes are only fakes after all. Rinnegan's true strength can't be displayed at all. With Mu Yun's current strength, he can resist. There was a sneer at the corner of his mouth, and the blade in Mu Yun's hand turned again and let out a soft moan out of thin air. Madara, what about your confidence? Facing Mu Yun's ridicule, the anger in Uchiha Madara's heart was like an erupting volcano. He swallowed his whole person's sanity in an instant. Uchiha Mu Yun, you will pay for your arrogance. His gaze swept across Senju Hashirama behind him instantly, and his hands and 10 fingers intertwined instantly. As a friend and opponent for many years, Senju Hashirama instantly understood what Madara meant. The two palms suddenly joined together. The chakra of the two reached an amazing resonance at this moment. Wood-style birthday of the tree world. The battlefield in the Valley of the End is full of blood and death. In this war that almost swept the entire ninja world, killing is the theme. All the ninjas, with their crimson eyes open, thrust the ninja in their hands into the enemy's body with all their strength. The ground in the Valley of End had already been stained red with a lot of blood. Even the mud on the ground is mixed with blood. Step on it and splash everywhere. If an ordinary person saw this scene, he would have already split his liver and gallbladder, and would vomit up the leftovers of last night. However, the ninjas on both sides are, after all, elites who have seen killings. I have already been irritated by the death of my companions, and everyone's heart is full of great anger and hatred. In order to no longer be controlled by the 5 major powers. In order to identify the absolute status of the 5 ninja villages. The completely contradictory starting point makes this war impossible to adjust. Gunbu, you led Nan to the northern front to support. Cloud Shinobi's attack on those wandering ninjas simply can't hold on. Mother-in-law, let your puppet troop on top of Sand Shinobi's attack. You are familiar with their attack methods, but you can effectively avoid casualties. Everyone of Rain Shinobi Village, scattered among all the crowds, wherever the attack is fierce, you will use that trick to attack in a line. Luli stood calmly in the center of the battlefield, commanding everyone to resist the attack of the Ninja Coalition forces. At the beginning, the old age of 1,000-generation mother-in-law didn't even bother to listen to her orders. It's just a yellow girl, even if she has a close relationship with Mu Yun-sama. But there is no corresponding experience. This is war, and she can't let her command blindly. However, Chio secretly admired Luli's performance later. The mountain technique that Iwagakure ninjas jointly used, even the tail beast can almost suppress it. However, under her command, dozens of water-style ninjas use the Great Falls technique together. Directly sink the huge mountain soil into the ground. An attack that should have caused a great sacrifice, but it was completely resolved after dozens of people died. This kind of genius command ability, and the understanding of the restraint of various ninjutsu. Even Chio, who has participated in several ninja battles, can't be admired by new students. At this moment, on the white kimono that Luli was wearing, a little bloodline was also rendered. Even a delicate little face is covered with fine sweat. In her heart, she was never as relaxed as Chio thought. On the contrary, it is stressful. Once this battlefield is defeated, Muan will be under even greater pressure. The front line must be firmly guarded before the high-level combat power can decide the victory or defeat. In order to let more people hear your own voice clearly. She has even reached the center of the battlefield. Had it not been for Tsunade to bring down all the enemies that attacked her, she would have no spare time to command the battlefield. At this moment, a white-haired figure instantly appeared beside Tsunade. Jiraiya's eyes fixed on Tsunade tightly, filled with anger. Uchiha Muan of it used Sharingan's illusion to control Tsunade. Jiraiya squeezed his fist fiercely, very angry but couldn't bear to shoot Tsunade. Although his character is uninhibited, he always has the position of Tsunade in his heart. Let him shoot Tsunade, it's hard. However, when I saw the blush on Gangshu's neck, the anger in his heart, Jane reached the top. Asshole. When the palm was stretched out, a large amount of chakra instantly circulated in the palm. Chakra flows chaotically, disrupting the surrounding air. I'm going to stop Tsunade, you go and fix that woman. Jiraiya's figure flashed, and Tsunade was blocked instantly. Although relying on Baihao technique, Tsunade is not afraid of being injured at all. However, Jiraiya's strength is much stronger than her. Moreover, the weird ninjutsu practiced in Mount Myoboku also made Tsunade, a physical ninja, helpless, completely unable to break through Jiraiya's attack. Jiraiya, don't stop me. Tsunade condensed all Chakra's punches and smashed the entire ground directly. Even if Jiraiya gets a punch, it is the end of a serious injury. However, his speed was impossible for Tsunade to hit. He just looked at Tsunade in front of him with sad eyes and said, "You have been hit by Uchiha Muyan's illusion. Don't worry, I will help you break free." Hearing Jiraiya's words, Tsunade not only gritted his teeth tightly. Her companions for many years have given her a deep understanding of Jiraiya. This guy is definitely not a guy who listens to persuasion. Even if Konoha's darkness were told to him, it would be useless. We can only talk about winning this war first. At this time, without Tsunade's protection, Luli was in danger. Dozens of ninjas surrounded her, all with sharp ninjas in their hands. Don't be soft-hearted, she is a naturally evil Uchiha clan. Kill her, this war is half over. Go, killing her is the hero of this war. If you blame it, you shouldn't be born into the Uchiha clan. There was a bitter hatred on everyone's face. Although most of them have never interacted with the Uchiha clan. No family members and companions were killed by Uchiha. However, the infectiousness of the war has infected their heads with hatred of Uchiha. Even Luli, who has never seen it before, can inspire hatred in their hearts. For a time, everyone shot one after another, all kinds of sharp endurance, almost filled the space in front of them. There is no way to hide, no way to avoid. Luli's face instantly turned pale, and even her eyes were slowly closed. It seems, already desperate. The corner of a ninja's mouth showed a sorrowful smile instantly. It was as if Luli had already died in his hands and became the hero of this war. At this moment, Luli's eyes suddenly opened. Among a pair of scarlet Sharingan, 3 Guyu swiftly spun. In an instant, a cross-flower pattern condensed. A kind of huge pupil power radiated from it in an instant. Directly engulfed all the people who were besieged. Wrong god. An invisible wave swept past in an instant. The dozen or so ninjas besieging her, all seemed to be insane. Holding the ninja in hand, they attacked each other frantically. He didn't even care about his own safety, and all died in the blink of an eye. Luli's face paled back a few steps, almost unable to stand steady. At this moment, countless huge trees and vines suddenly rose from the Valley of End. In the blink of an eye, it almost changed the surrounding terrain into a virgin forest. Huge tree vines suddenly grow from the Valley of the End. With the collaboration of Hashirama and Madara, the power and scope of wood style are huge. Every tree vine is almost the thickness of a house, densely growing. Almost the entire valley burst away. Taste. On the rock walls of the valley, there are cracks in the trees and vines. It's almost broken. Mu Yun's figure, on top of a vine, looked condescendingly at Madara and Hashirama below. Zanpakuto in his hand, under the shining of the sun. Shining the brilliance of the debut, exuding strands of cold in the air. The birth of the tree world on such a scale, even Mu Yun could not display it. Not only the accuracy of wood style is not enough, but more importantly, the amount of chakra in the body. Hashirama is a member of the Senju tribe, and even the reincarnation of Ashura. Madara is also the reincarnation of Indra. Both of them have a very large amount of chakra. Together, it is reasonable to be able to play such a large-scale tree world birth. However, Uchiha Mu Yun is just an ordinary Uchiha tribe. There is no special blood blessing. Although the chakra in the body is also very large, it is not as much as Hashirama than the tail beast. Moreover, there is no need to waste your own chakra so much. After all, the enemy he has to face is not just the two people in front of him. If chakra is used unscrupulously, it is likely that chakra will be insufficient in the final battle. Hashirama and Madara do not have this kind of restriction, plus there is the unlimited chakra of impure world reincarnation. When using ninjutsu, you don't have to think about consumption at all. At this moment, the handprints of the two changed again. Blossoms of flowers the size of a person, instantly scattered from the trees and vines. The golden pollen floated out from the flowers. With the breeze, it slowly drifted away in the air. Is the flower and tree world born? Mu Yun frowned slightly. The birthday of the flower and tree world will make huge flowers bloom on all the vines. Among them, the pollen emitted has a strong coma. Even with Jonin's strength, he would fall into a coma when he smelled these pollen. The pollen drifts very quickly, just for a short while. In the nearby battlefield, whether it is a ninja from the 5 great nations or a wandering ninja from Mu Yun's side. As long as the people who felt the pollen, all fell into a coma. Shaking his footsteps, one head fell on the blood plasma on the ground. However, once these pollen floated to Mu Yun's side, they would be instantly frozen by Hirinmaru's cold air, and they would not have any effect at all. A touch of ridicule was thrown at the corner of Mu Yun's mouth, and a few handprints instantly formed with one hand. Fire-style Bengo Liaoyuan, Chuck, with a lot of fire attributes, instantly condensed in his mouth. A ball of flames burst out of his mouth in an instant. It blasted into a sea of fire in the middle of the air, directly igniting the entire tree. All the tree vines were burnt with a burst of noise under the flames. The billowing smoke instantly lifted into the air, covering almost all the surrounding vision. In the thick smoke and dust, 2 figures rushed to Hashirama and Madara's side in an instant. Monkey, Tobirama, take advantage of his current vision is blocked, trap him with 4 red flame formations. The purpose of Washuji's birthday is to lure Mu Yun to display fire style. With the dense smoke generated, Sharingan's sight was blocked. Buy time for Tobirama to arrive with 3rd generation and use the 4 red yang formation to block it in a limited place. Once the mobility is restricted, it will only be a matter of time before the defeat. With many ninjas of impure world reincarnation, even if it is consumed, he can consume his chakra completely. Tobirama nodded and put his palms on the shoulders of Sarutobi Hiruzen and Hashirama. The figures of the 3 disappeared instantly. When it reappears, it has been scattered around Mu Yun. It forms a standard quadrangle with Uchiha Madara in front of it. The 4 of them made mudra at the same time, and the chakra in their bodies surged instantly. 4 red yang formation. 4 red beams of light rose up into the sky in an instant. The beam of light and the beam of light are connected by a light curtain, forming an enchantment that penetrates into the sky. Tobirama frowned. Looking at the smoke and dust that filled the enchantment, his eyes were full of worry. 4 red yang formation is a powerful enchantment technique that can be performed by 4 cage-level ninjas working together. Even 10 tails can't easily break away from it. However, Mu Yun is definitely a ninja who can't be judged by common sense. Whether this kind of enchantment can trap him is still unknown. Just in the eyes of someone worried, a frost dragon instantly rushed out of the sky of smoke and dust. Yang Tian let out a heaven-shaking dragon chant, and slammed against the light curtain of the barrier. Boom! The entire enchantment was instantly deformed by the impact, almost protruding outward like a bulging balloon. The ferocious dragon horns and sharp dragon teeth were clearly printed on the light curtain. The extremely terrifying power of frost bloomed from the entire dragon body. Almost the entire enchantment is permeated. Hashirama's eyes were tightly squinted, and a cold sweat came out on his forehead. Couldn't this kind of enchantment technique be able to trap him? How strong is his strength? Even Uchiha Madara's face is a little nervous. Rinnegan from Impure World Reincarnation is not Muyun's opponent at all. Only use the enchantment technique to trap Muyun first, and then use the clone to retrieve Nagato's eyes. Moreover, you can use Nagato to truly resurrect yourself. By then, even Muyun will no longer be his opponent. But Madara's two Rinnegans instantly condensed on the body of the frost dragon struggling to scratch the barrier. The premise is that this enchantment must trap Muyun. Even if it is temporarily trapped, his plan can be realized. In the eyes of everyone, Li Jiao, full of tension and expectation, the body of the frost dragon burst into a cloud of ice mist. Although the entire enchantment was covered with frost, it was not broken after all. Seeing this result, everyone was relieved. Tobarama's mouth also showed a relieved smile. I thought you were capable, just take it inside. Hashirama's face is also full of joy. As long as the barrier can trap him, there is a way to seal him. It is even possible to kill him directly. After all, the Ninja Alliance is full of talents. At this moment, the two figures instantly fell in front of the junction. Second Tsuchikage, whose whole body is wrapped in bandages, suspended in the air, nothing. Wearing a striped robe and a mustache, Second Mizukage, who smiles a little wretchedly, is a ghostly lantern. How about the original world stripping technique and steaming dangerous explosive prestige? Dress up. Chapter 91. The moment the four beams of light soared into the sky, Muyun had already realized what Hashirama had made. Four Red Yang formation is indeed a very powerful enchantment technique. Even 10 tails, which had not evolved to a complete body, were tightly sealed and unable to break through. 10 tails Jinchuriki must concentrate the power of 10 tails to break through this barrier. Very powerful, with more restrictions. The 4 cage levels that cast the enchantment can only stand in place, and once the enchantment is moved, they will be broken. The crimson barrier formed instantly, covering all directions. Only the sky is not shrouded by enchantment. The blade flashed, and the biting cold exploded in an instant. Ice Dragon Swing Tail. A dragon chant resounded across the sky and blasted above the barrier. Sure enough, it is not so easy to break through. The long knife in his hand suddenly turned, and a smile appeared on his face. It is not difficult to break through the barrier, but this seems to be the barrier that traps Muyun. For him, it is also useful. Senju Tobarama's strength is not a big threat to him. But his Flying Thunder God technique, which was so proficient as to be almost smooth, was a huge trouble. His own escape speed is very fast, even the Chunin coalition forces in danger can be rescued instantly. Muyun's Zanpakudo has no time to kill the soul in the body of Impure World Reincarnation. This enchantment just can help a little bit. At this moment, 2 human figures appeared outside the enchantment instantly. Second Tsuchikage and Second Mizukage. 2 rivals joined forces. Both of them walked to Hashirama's side, and Hashirama opened a part of the barrier, putting their bodies in. Just when everyone's eyes are on the 2 of them. On Madara's back, a wood-style clone appeared suddenly. Jump on the ground a few times and disappear into sight in an instant. Bandage Man, wait for me to be the main offensive force. You are optimistic about the opportunity to directly end him with dust escape. The moment Ghost Lantern Wanyu entered the barrier, the mudra was formed. With a light tap on the ground, a thick mist of water instantly swept across the enchantment. Water-style shaving technique. The flames that originally entangled in the birth of flowers and trees were instantly extinguished by water mist. Even the rising smoke is purified by thick water vapor. In the whole field of vision, the color of clarity was once again present. On Wu's whole body, only a pair of eyes are exposed case. At this moment, he is staring at Uchiha Muyun, who is standing on the giant tree. Although it has been so long and I died once, I still feel a little tricky to face him again. After hearing Wu's words, there was a wry smile on Guilan Yu's face. It's just tricky. I'm terribly scared in my heart. The age of the 2 is just right to catch up with the end of the Sengoku era. Once on the battlefield, I have personally witnessed the style of Uchiha Muan. The magical ice escape technique, the 5-attribute conventional ninjutsu grandmaster. And those scarlet eyes that can be equated with death. It was their nightmare at the time. Wu never escaped with Onogi Rao on the battlefield. But Ghost Lantern Wanyu didn't dare to make a move at all. Just looking at it from a distance has exhausted all his courage. Even now it is the body of the immortal impure world reincarnation, facing the nightmare of the past. I can't help but shudder in my heart. However, behind them, after all, are their descendants, who are destined to have no retreat. Ghost Lantern Huan Yu twisted the palm of his hand on the ground and got up to make a seal. Steaming dangerously. Boom. A avatar condensed from water and oil appeared instantly, looking like a strange child. This is the strongest infinite blasting ninjutsu of Ghost Lantern Magic Moon. The body of the clone is full of oil and water. Once it moves, the oil heats up and evaporates the water into dense water vapor. After the water vapor accumulates to a certain limit, it will produce a strong explosion. The steam surged up, and when it encountered a cold wind, it froze into hail and fell, returning the clone to its original form. In theory, it can go on forever. Bandage Man, I used this ninjutsu to kill you back then, remember? Gui Deng Huan Yu showed a smug smile on her face, very proud of her ninjutsu. I have to say that Second Mizukage is also a genius of ninjutsu. He was born with no blood limit, and he was able to develop a ninjutsu similar to the combination of scorch style and explosion style relying on water and oil. With the ability to kill Tsuchikage, it is not easy. After listening to his words, Second Tsuchikage instantly formed a mudra. The whole body slowly disappeared in the air. I killed you, don't forget. You Bandage Man. Ghost Lantern Wanyu waved with one hand, and the clone beside him ran and jumped on the spot instantly. The whole body gradually became huge. This technique, as long as exercise can generate heat, there is no need to provoke Muan when the energy is not enough. When it is about to explode, the same is true for attacks. A smile appeared on the corners of Guidong Wanyu's mouth, and a sinister gaze was revealed in his eyes. After all, I am a ninja phantom. A breeze blew by, and the mist filled the sky with a huge shadow on the ground. However, nothing can be seen in it. There was a hint of curiosity in Muyan's eyes. Is that the big clam of Second Mizukage summoning? It is said that it can make a large range of sea houses. The first time Second Mizukage entered the 4 red flame formations, he pressed it on the ground. At that time, the big clam summoning had already come out. None of this escaped Muyan's Sharingan. But Ghost Lantern Wanyu thought that what she had done was ignorant of the spirit, but not the ghost. At this moment, the clone that swelled to the limit instantly came to Muyan's side. The whole body is already on the brink of explosion, and may explode at any time. However, Muyan just smiled faintly, letting the clone pass through his body without evasive. Fake. The real body is here. With a movement of his wrist, he looked back and cut behind him. The freezing cold burst out instantly, and a huge shadow froze in the air. In the next second, the corpse appeared in the shadows instantly. The clone that swelled to the limit was under the chill of Hirenmaru. It shrinks instantly at a speed visible to the naked eye. The blade shook, and it instantly shattered into ice mist in the sky. This kind of attack has no effect on him. At this moment, Wu's figure suddenly appeared in the air behind him. A cone exuding dazzling white light had condensed between his hands. Dust Escape Original Realm Stripping Technique. At the moment when the second-generation water shadow clone was frozen, Wu's figure instantly appeared in the midair behind Muyan. In his hands, a cone exuding dazzling white light had already condensed. Second Mizukage is just a cover, the real attack is Master's Dusty Nothingness. It is Binghan who is frightened and frightened. Facing Muyan, it can't play a role at all. However, it can expose him to flaws. For example, now. Dust Escape Original Realm Stripping Technique. As soon as the dazzling beam came, it burst out of Wu's palm and enveloped the entire body of Uchiha Muyan. Everything you passed along the way was instantly divided by the dust, resolved into nothingness. The figure of Uchiha Muyan is no exception. Succeeded. In Wu's eyes, there was a hint of surprise in an instant. He and the Ghost Lantern Moon entered the enchantment, originally intending to exhaust Muyan's chakra. I never thought about killing him. Unexpectedly, it really succeeded. Sure enough, his strength is not as good as before, he didn't even perceive himself hidden behind him. Hey, Mustache, we made it. At this moment, Wu's ear heard an explosion. Untie. The tightly closed eyes opened instantly. Everything in front of me is back to reality. Uchiha Muan is fighting wildly with Hashirama Tobirama and Uchiha Madara's clones. Sarutobi Hiruzen's clone is forming a handprint and pressing it on his shoulder. The second Mizukage on the side also looked at everything in front of him with shock. It looks like him, they are all caught in illusion. Illusory. When Wu's eyes widened to the limit in an instant, and his entire expression was shocked. With his strength, he would fall into the illusion without knowing it. This is simply incredible. However, the facts were in front of him, and he couldn't help but believe it. As soon as you entered the enchantment, you were already hit by Uchiha Muyan's illusion. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Muyan who was fighting, his eyes filled with consternation. Neither did we expect that his Tsukuyomi technique should be so strong. Muyan's Tsukuyomi technique is a fusion of Uchiha Shisui's distinguished heavenly gods and his own understanding of illusion. Except for distinguished heavenly gods, it can almost be said to be the strongest illusion in a single body. Moreover, it does not have a long cool-down period like distinguished heavenly gods, so it can be used repeatedly in a short period of time. Boom! A frost dragon instantly bit Senju Tobirama's entire body tightly in his mouth. It smashed to the ground fiercely, and burst into ice fog. With a flash, Senju Hashirama's body was cut off in an instant. A azure blue streamer flashed past the sharp blade. Once again, the clone of Hashirama was wiped out. The intense pain distorted the expression on Senju Hashirama's face, who was maintaining the barrier. The big beads of sweat rolled from above his forehead, soaking the ground under him. Killing the clone can actually harm the soul of the body. Be careful with his sword, even if you kill the clone, you can hurt the soul of the body. After hearing his words, Uchiha Madara was taken aback for a moment. Can killing the clone also harm the soul of the body? He had never heard of such a thing. After all, at the very beginning, the clone was a ninjutsu developed to detect the enemy's situation. If all the damages are returned to the body, then this kind of ninjutsu has no meaning at all. At this moment, a sharp blade of light struck him in an instant. Almost cut off his head entirely. A thin layer of cold sweat instantly oozes out of Madara's face. When I just wanted to lift the clone, I felt a pain in my eyebrows. A sharp point of the knife penetrated his forehead in an instant. A trace of soul contained in the clone was instantly annihilated by Zanpakuto. The long sword shook, and his body also shattered into a cloud of ice. Just do you have a clone? After Muyan's clone said coldly, he tossed the Zanpakuto in his hand back to his body, and instantly burst into a cloud of smoke. I wanted to take the opportunity to completely solve second Tsuchikage and second Mizukage. Unexpectedly, these four guys reacted very quickly. While they were in the illusion, they sent their clones to stop them. However, the two attacks just now also injured the souls of Hashirama and Madara. In the next period of time, they will all feel pain from the depths of their souls. Jiraiya was injured by him to shadow clone and lay down in Konoha's hospital for several months before he recovered. Even if they were far superior to Jiraiya, the pain did not cheat at all. Uchiha Madara, who was maintaining the barrier, instantly fell to his knees. The big beads of sweat slipped from his face one after another. Chakra and chaos almost broke the barrier. A purple Rinnegan stared deeply at Uchiha Muyan's body. The hatred in it is almost condensed into substance. Uchiha Madara stood up forcibly, and the huge pupil power gushed out of his eyes again. A towering Susanoo instantly enveloped his entire body. It's just that this Susanoo is a bit strange, with two faces before and after. The limbs and arms formed two completely different handprints in an instant. Give me all to die. Uchiha Madara gritted her teeth tightly, her face full of hideousness due to pain. Tengai Shinsei, an invisible fluctuation, instantly soaring into the sky. There was a muffled sound in the entire sky, wanting something huge to come. Seeing Madara's gesture, Uchiha Muyan's pupils shrank instantly. The most troublesome thing about Madara is this technique. Can clean the meteorites of the entire battlefield. Moreover, there are two at all. Even with his current strength, it would be reluctant to completely resist this attack. Moreover, it will consume a huge amount of chakra, which is not good for subsequent battles. The Scarlet Sharingan turned in an instant, and the tight Tsuchikage hadn't fully awakened from the illusion of second Tsuchikage. The figure flashed, and instantly appeared beside Wuda. With a single knife, third Hokage was cut into a cloud of ice and fog, and Wu's face was tightly clasped with his hand, and he slammed it on the ground. Boom. System, capture. An invisible wave suddenly swept past. Chen Dun's blood inherits the limit, and instantly changes hands. Tengai Shinsei is a technique that only the holder of Rinnegan can use. 2 huge meteorites can be summoned from space, and they have the power to sweep the entire battlefield. Muan's power is based on absolute attacks. To completely resist this attack, it takes a considerable amount of chakra to be possible. At this time, Wu's dust escape is particularly important. With Onoki's strength, he can cooperate with Gaara to intercept the next meteorite. After he got the power of the dust, intercepting 2 pieces should not be a problem. The seizure ability of the system exploded in an instant, and the dust was completely seized in an instant. Flowing through Muan's body, it seemed like the blood that was born with him was bounded by the boundary. With a single knife, Wu's soul was wiped out. The body of Impure World Reincarnation instantly shattered into debris on the ground. Among them, there is a 5 or 6-0 ninja wearing a forehead protector. Sao Yin Village. Is it really the reincarnation of the dragon? It seems that these guys are ready for a complete resurrection method. I haven't used it now, I guess I want to use the immortality of Impure World Reincarnation. When it really reaches the last step, it is estimated that some kind of technique will be used to control the Kuo Yin ninja, and it will truly be resurrected in the ninja world. As for the sacrificed Kusakura ninja, it is completely out of their consideration. At this moment, the clouds in the sky burst into a big hole in an instant. A meteorite that obscured the sky broke through the barriers of the atmosphere and instantly descended on the sky. Under this huge meteorite, the entire sky was instantly dark. The warm sunlight was completely covered by meteorites. Only the wind pressure carried by the meteorite descended on the entire battlefield. Boom! The loud rumbling noise was transmitted from the sky to the earth in an instant. Let all the ninjas who are fighting stop their movements and look up at the sky. This is, what? Fake. Can you summon a meteorite? Hehehe, this is dead. It's over, our previous battles have lost their meaning. Whether it is the ninja of the Ninja Coalition army or the wandering ninja, there is a deep despair on the face. The ninja in his hand fell instantly, and even the redness in his eyes faded instantly. Despair spread throughout the battlefield. The exhausted post office is struggling to resist the combined attack of the 3 Cloud Shinobi. Just when he was about to be unable to support it, the attack stopped instantly. Everyone looked up into the sky, their faces shocked inexplicably. The county also looked up with everyone's gaze, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. The body that has been tight since the war relaxes instantly. The whole person fell directly into the blood on the ground, looking up at the huge meteorite gradually enlarging in the pupil. This ending is not bad. Luli also looked up at the meteorite in the sky, without the slightest trace of fear on his face. He just glanced in Muan's direction, his eyes filled with longing and unwillingness. Master Muan, I hope you can survive. Hoshigaki Kisame, who was fighting Guy, also noticed the meteorite in the sky. 2 small yellow eyes trembled violently in their sockets. An inexplicable color of relief appeared on his face. Is this false world finally coming to an end? The waves caused by this huge meteorite impact can definitely sweep the entire battlefield. Everyone, whether it is the 5 Ninja Nation or the wandering ninja of Muan's side, will be shaken to death under the huge impact. Except Uchiha Madara and their ancestors who were Impure World Reincarnation. Uzumaki Ashina, who was fighting with Obito, had a smile on his face. After the meteorite falls, everyone will die. Only these people of Impure World Reincarnation can be resurrected again. After that, just look for the ninja in Sao Yin Village to resurrect yourself. Resurrecting the Uzumaki clan members one by one. The entire ninja world after that is definitely the world of the Uzumaki clan. But Obito's eyes have a hint of worry. Both he and Muan possess the power of Kamui, and this kind of pure physical attack can be completely ignored. However, there are too many ninjas on the entire battlefield. Even if they tried desperately to save, they couldn't save a few people. Looking at the Akatsuki members who also looked up at the sky, a bitter smile filled the corners of Obito's mouth. After all, did it fail? Lin, I've been waiting for a long time. Seeing this scene, Senju gradually and instantly let out a roar at Uchiha Madara. Madara, what did you do? Such an attack will kill everyone on the entire battlefield, so what is the point of our war? Tobirama, Sarutobi Hiruzen and second Mizukage immediately surrounded Madara in the middle. The expression on his face is full of anger. He, at least, we can still live. Uchiha Madara smiled contemptuously, and his eyes showed disdain. Don't pretend how noble you are, or are you planning to use the Dragon Life Reincarnation War in Kalyan Village to be resurrected? If you don't use this technique, who of you is Uchiha Mu-yun's opponent? Uchiha Madara stood up, and a pair of lavender Rinnegan swept across the faces of everyone in front of him. Everything I have done is to win the final victory. Only if we win, this ninja world is necessary, otherwise, it is better to destroy it together. Uchiha Madara's words, like a blast of thunder, burst instantly in Hashirama's mind. If you don't use this kind of ninjutsu, no one can defeat Uchiha Mu-yun. Even, he will be killed. At that time, the entire ninja world will fall into his hands. At that time, no matter how many people survived, they had nothing to do with them. Winner and loser. The new history will even unearth the darkness of Konoha and even the 5 great nations. They were turned into the evil side and rejected by thousands of people. Madara's ninjutsu is extreme, but as long as Uchiha Mu-yun is eliminated, it is worth it. After the passage of time, the ninja who survived will forget their dead compatriots. Just remember that they saved the entire ninja world in the hands of Uchiha Mu-yun. On the one hand, it is spurned by thousands of people, and on the other hand, it is a hero who is remembered by everyone. Which one to choose? Madara glanced contemptuously at Hashirama, the contempt in her eyes clearly visible. This is war, put away your unnecessary kindness, only the victorious side is qualified to talk about right and wrong. Rumble. The loud rumbling sound, as if the sky collapsed, spread across the entire battlefield in an instant. Almost even ninjas and villagers in other countries can see the huge meteorite in the sky. Everyone's faces showed a deep shock, as if witnessing the end of the world with my own eyes. Under that level of attack, nothing will be spared on the entire battlefield. Even a cage-level ninja can't get out of it all. Not to mention those ordinary jonin. Must die. Uchiha Mu-yun held Zanpakuto and stared at the huge meteorite in the sky. A pair of scarlet Sharingan revealed a thick and solemn color. This scale is much larger than imagined. Meteorites of this size are simply bigger than those in the original work. Almost filled the entire field of vision. At the edge of the meteorite, there are air currents. The huge air pressure gives people an infinite sense of oppression. The slightly weaker people couldn't even straighten their waists, and fell on the ground one after another. Guy looked at the despair on the faces of his companions around him, but a smile appeared at the corners of his mouth. Now, it is the time to implement your own forbearance and use your life to protect the things you cherish. 8-Gate Escape. Just when he was about to open the 8th gate, a dragon chant resounded across the battlefield in an instant. Mu-yun stretched Zanpakuto in his hands across his chest, curled his 2 fingers across the sharp blade. On the bright blade, there was a dignified cold light. The sound of dragon chants continuously came from the long sword. Even in Mu-yun's eyes, a bright white color appeared. Obviously, Hirinmaru's abilities have been fully utilized to the ultimate. Sit in the frost, Hirinmaru. Boom! A huge chill burst out instantly. A thick white mist emerged in the air. The pale frost instantly spread from Mu-yun's feet. In the blink of an eye, the entire valley of the end was already covered. As the blade turned, a dragon roar instantly resounded across the sky. Ice Dragon Spin Tail. A towering frost dragon appeared in the air instantly. The ferocious dragon's horns pierced the sky obliquely, and the dragon teeth in his mouth flashed with cold light. The thick dragon's tail suddenly flicked, and the air was pumped out with an explosion. The frost dragon rose into the sky, and 2 dragon claws clung to the meteorite. Roar! A dragon chant blasted loudly, and 2 dragons Kakuzu plunged deep into the meteorite. The bitter cold breath broke out in an instant. The pale frost, at a speed visible to the naked eye, instantly covered the entire meteorite. Taste. A crisp cracking sound suddenly sounded. In all the shocked eyes, the entire meteorite was eroded by the extreme cold. There are many fine cracks. Even in the cracks, crushed ice began to bloom. The ninjas who were already desperate in the battlefield suddenly gave birth to a kind of hope from the bottom of their hearts. Hope to keep them alive. Whether it is the ninja coalition of the 5 great nations, or the wandering ninja commanded by Ruri. All raised their heads to look at the tall and straight back. That is, everyone on the battlefield at this moment, the last hope. Even in Guy's eyes, a different kind of color sprouted. Although he belongs to a different camp from Uchiha Muan, he looked at Muan in his eyes. But it was full of strong fighting spirit and a little appreciation. Dad, it seems that everyone has something they cherish. I really want to fight him. Only Uchiha Madara's face was covered with frost, and he never thought that a meteorite of such a scale could be blocked by his own strength. Even the entire meteorite is about to shatter under his chill. This kind of strength is hardly owned by anyone in the current battlefield. However, the second one, what are you going to do? Under the hopeful gaze of everyone, Uchiha Muan once again put Hiranmaru in his hands across his chest. Not enough. The power is not enough now. Muan knew well that on top of this meteorite, another meteorite of almost the same size had not yet arrived. Once the 2 meteorites collided, there was no way to stop it with Hiranmaru's power. It seems that Chen Dun is not needed anymore. With a long knife in his hand, Hiranmaru plunged into the ground fiercely. Several handprints were quickly formed between his hands, and chakra, with fire attributes, earth attributes, and wind attributes, instantly condensed in his palm. Suddenly, it merged into a conical geometry. The dazzling white light bloomed from it, causing almost everyone's eyes to sting. It turned out to be Chen Dun. After seeing this scene, the big wild wood, which was floating in the sky. A deep consternation filled his face for an instant. Dust escape is a fusion of the 3 chakra attributes of wind, fire and earth. It is the only bloodline eliminated in the ninja world today. It can condense into a pure white geometric crystal, decomposing everything that is shrouded in it into the most primitive atomic form. Everything that is shrouded in dust will be wiped out. Impossible. How could he escape? Oyemu's old eyes widened to the limit in an instant. In the entire ninja world, only 2 people can escape. One is him, and the other is second Tsuchikage, whose soul has just been killed by Muan. Other than that, there is absolutely no third person. Seeing Muan actually display the dust that he hadn't used before, Madara's face instantly became gloomy. Among a pair of Rinnegan, huge pupil power burst out instantly. The majestic Susanoo condensed and formed on his body in the blink of an eye. Madara, what are you doing? Hashirama was shocked, and finally had the hope of saving everyone on the battlefield. Is Madara trying to stop it? Susanoo's palm slowly stretched out, and 3 Guyu jade condensed in the palm. Hashirama, Li Wangs, you are still too naive. If Uchiha Muan really succeeds in preventing the falling of the meteorite, then he will become a hero who has saved everyone. By then, the entire ninja world will be at his fingertips. All of us will become demons in the cholera ninja world. In Uchiha Madara's eyes, there is a deep killing intent. Even if these tens of thousands of ninjas are buried, Uchiha Muan must die. 3 huge Guyu jade suddenly shot out in the direction of Muan. All the air in the air was torn apart, and a sharp yumming sound was made. At the same time, the second meteorite pierced through the thick clouds at this moment. Appeared in the sky instantly. Once Muan is attacked, except for those of impure world reincarnation, everyone will die. At this moment, several figures appeared behind Muan instantly. One palm opened slowly, facing the hitting Ba Kai Chong Guyu. Shen Luo Tianzheng. 2 meteorites that obscured the sky and sun fell one after another. The first one has not been completely crushed, and the other one comes one after another. But at this time, Uchiha Madara's attack struck again instantly. If Muan dodges Madara's attack, the meteorite will be unstoppable. Tens of thousands of ninjas in the entire battlefield will not be spared. If you don't dodge, Madara's attack is likely to seriously injure Muan. The dust condensed in half in the hand will also dissipate in an instant. Everyone, still must die. Blocking or not blocking is already a mortal situation. At the corner of Uchiha Madara's mouth, a smile appeared. It is worthwhile for Muan to die under the meteorite even if all the ninjas in the entire battlefield are buried with him. Those who have survived will one day forget what happened today. At that time, he was still a demon in the world of electric chaos. These Sengoku ancestors, who did not hesitate to return to the ninja world from the Pure Land world, are the heroes of the entire ninja world. In the desperate gaze of everyone, several silhouettes appeared behind Muan instantly. A red cloud windbreaker was hunting in the squally wind set off by the meteorite. There is no trace of fear on everyone's face. In the eyes of everyone's shocked eyes, Pain, who was leading the way, slowly opened his palms. An extremely strong repulsive force burst into his palm instantly. Shen Luo Tianzheng, Uchiha Madara's 8-foot Chang'o jade was instantly bounced away by heaven. It fell on the top of a distant mountain and exploded. Boom! Slowly lowering his palms, Tiandao's eyes were fixed on Uchiha Madara's face. The two pairs of Rinnegan's eyes suddenly met violently in the air. The collision between pupil power and pupil power almost splashed in and out sparks visible to the naked eye. Everyone in the Akatsuki organization looked in the direction of Uchiha Madara. Although no one said a word, his attitude was very obvious. If you want to attack Uchiha Muan, first step down these guys who are reputed to be rebellious. It's Akatsuki, dare to stop me. Uchiha Madara cursed secretly, and the wings behind Susanoo spread out instantly. Hashirama, if you don't take action, wait for Uchiha Muan to cope with the immediate crisis. Not only you group of dead people, but even the entire country of fire will be destroyed by him. Madara gave a final warning. She spread her wings and flew in the direction that Akatsuki had stopped. Obito's gaze swept over all the members of Akatsuki's organization. Everyone, now is the time for our group of rebellious ninjas to correct the entire ninja world. In Deidara's palm, a white clay bird crawled out quickly. Throwing it into the sky, it instantly swelled into a giant bird with huge wings. The patriarch of Uchiha is qualified to witness my art. Deidara grinned and jumped onto the bird's back. Hidan, Kakuzu and others also jumped up, without the slightest fear on their faces. Even Hidan's face was filled with a crazy grin. In a pair of eyes, they all climbed bloodshot in excitement. This sacrifice is really great. Countless detonating clays blasted in the air instantly, and the current swept around Hoshigaki Kisame. Fight with Madara's perfect body Susanoo in an instant. At this time, the dust in Muyan's hands finally accumulated enough chakra. The entire conical crystal emits a dazzling white light. A sharp cold light flashed across the scarlet Sharingan in an instant. Dust escape original realm stripping technique. The dazzling white light flashed, and the huge white cube instantly wrapped the entire meteorite in it. Muyan's hands suddenly turned, and the entire meteorite was instantly decomposed into invisible by the dust. Disappeared completely in the sky. How can you use such a wide range of dust escape? This kind of power, even a teacher can't do it. Seeing this case scene of third Tsuchikage, his face was full of disbelief. The power of Chen Dun is very powerful, but the corresponding range is not too scary. It is usually a beam of light, or a cube the size of a house. And Muyan's dusty escape can even encompass the entire boulder. It is unbelievable. However, it is not over yet. Another meteorite appeared in front of everyone in an instant, almost as large as the one just now. Muyan took a few breaths and mobilized chakra in his body again. Earth-style light and heavy rock technique. The whole body instantly became very light, and with a little effort, he could fly freely in the air. Uchiha Muyan pulled out Hiranmaru from the ground and stuck it around his waist casually. The whole person instantly faced the huge boulder and flew into the sky. Luli's sight was instantly filled with a mist of mist. 2 lines of crystal tears slid down instantly from his cheeks. Master Muyan must survive. Even Tsunade's face on one side was full of worry. A pair of brown eyes fixed on Muyan's straight back. Uchiha Muyan, you will never succeed. Seeing that Muyan had solved a meteorite, Uchiha Madara was instantly anxious. As soon as the wings spread out, Deidara's clay giant bird was immediately scattered. Most of the members of Akatsuki's organization do not have the ability to fly. I can only watch Madara fly in the direction of Muyan. At this moment, the whole ground burst into shock. A behemoth stretched out from the ground in an instant. Forbidden technique, Baki technique. Boom! Several huge pale snake heads bit Susanoo's ankle in an instant. Orochimaru stood with his chest on the head of Yachirochi, and a cold smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Uchiha Madara, your path is lonely, and you are destined to not succeed, or lying in a coffin is more suitable for you. At this time, Mu Yun's hands finally touched the icy meteorite. The chakra in the body was released without reservation. Inject into the entire meteorite in an instant. Earth-style super light and heavy rock technique. An invisible wave swept the entire meteorite in an instant. The huge weight was completely reduced by Mu Yun's ninjutsu. Even stopped slowly in the sky. Mu Yun thrust his Zanpakuto into the meteorite fiercely. Endless frost instantly covered the entire meteorite. Holding the handle of the knife with both hands, the only chakra left in the body broke out in an instant. Mu Yun's eyes flashed across the room in an instant. The direction of the entire meteorite was changed abruptly by his power. Orochimaru, drag me into the Valley of the End. On the battlefield at this moment, there was no sound. Everyone looked up to the sky, the upright figure floating in the sky. The two huge meteorites that covered the sky and the sun unexpectedly stopped them just by relying on their own power. Even under his attack, one of the meteorites was directly crushed and annihilated. The other one is also completely controlled by him using ninjutsu. It's like a plaything in the palm of your hand. This kind of strength is simply appalling. Moreover, under the kind of attack that is close to the end of the world. He even dared to bear all the lives of everyone on the battlefield on his own body. What courage does it take? Even the shadows of the 5 ninja villages dare not make the slightest movement in front of that kind of attack. He dare, just when everyone has already felt fear for that kind of apocalyptic attack. He is not afraid, just when all the ninjas on Mu Yun's side were full of despair and willing to die. He is full of fighting spirit. Will, a mortal blow. Rely on one's own strength to stop it. Turning despair into a new hope. Uchiha Mu Yun at this moment is like a god. Even many ninjas in the 5 big countries are full of gratitude and awe for Mu Yun. Is he really the evil Uchiha clan? Why would he save everyone on the battlefield? Don't be naive, he is just to save his subordinates. To save his own subordinates, they can use that kind of powerful ice escape to resist all the broken meteorites. Why do you have to take more effort to stop the entire meteorite? Could it be that everything we did before was wrong? Uchiha Mu Yun is not the real evil, are we? For whatever reason, Laozi owes him his life. For a time, 2 completely different voices appeared among the ninjas of the 5 great nations. Many people have deep admiration for Mu Yun who rescued them from the threat of death. Whatever the method, Uchiha Mu Yun saved their lives after all. Many people are grateful to him in their hearts. However, there are still more people appraising their positions. It is believed that Uchiha is a born evil race, and Mu Yun is one of the best. Saving them was just a matter of convenience, without any gratitude at all. After all, it has been too long in the 5 major countries. It has been completely brainwashed by the senior management, and everything is based on the interests of the village. Even if saved by the enemy 100 times 1,000 times, the enemy is only the enemy after all. Compared with the entanglement among the 5 great nations, there was only one voice among the group of wandering ninjas led by Luli. The cheers were deafening, almost resounding above the sky. I saw with my own eyes that the leader whom I was loyal to, saved everyone under the apocalyptic disaster. That kind of huge excitement instantly ignited everyone's aura. With both hands up to the sky, there is a strong enthusiasm in the sight of Mu Yun. Before, many people were tempted by Luli's heavy money. There are also many people who have taken this opportunity to resist bravely under the long-term oppression of the 5 major powers. No matter what the purpose is to appear on the battlefield, after all, it is a group of stragglers. If it weren't for the puppet army of the 1000-generation mother-in-law, and the elite Jonin of Rain Shinobi Village, and Luli's wonderful command, the entire front has already collapsed. However, now this army has its own beliefs. A faith as powerful as a god. Just staring at Mu Yun's figure is enough to make them explode with unprecedented strength. Compared with before, it is far from the same. The county lying in a pool of blood, grinned hard and pulled out a smile. One hand, struggling to support the ground, hardly propped up his exhausted body. With the other hand, I pulled out the kuwuhu was deeply inserted in the shoulder. A hot blood spurted out. If you can follow such a leader, even if you die in the next second, you will have no regrets. Luli on the side looked at Muan holding the master star in the sky. A happy smile appeared on his face. He waved his hand to wipe away the tears on his face, and pulled up Yingshui who fell to the ground behind her. Can you still fight? Yingshui's eyes were also filled with tears, and her heart was filled with fear of death and joy of rebirth. Even the feet are a bit weak. However, after hearing Luli's words, she wiped away the tears from her face. Efforts to stand up from the ground, a small face is full of determination. Luli smiled slightly and squeezed her palm. Come on. The war is not over yet. In the battlefield, all the wandering ninjas stood up from the ground again. Even many people who were seriously injured stood up under the support of their companions. The war is not over yet. On the other hand, on the side of the ninja allied forces, the internal polarization is even more serious. Many people have been conquered by what Muan has done, and identify with this Uchiha tribe in their hearts. Point 0. In contrast, those who don't care about their life or death at all are even more ugly. Especially when Madara wants to interrupt Muan to save everyone. Unexpectedly, no shadow stood up to stop it, but a group of rebels who had been wanted by the 5 major powers joined forces to stand up. This scene chilled many ninjas from the 5 great nations. Could it be that these ninjas are just the 5 great nations used to deter attacks from the ninja world? Is it just cannon fodder that can be discarded on the battlefield? A burst of anger suddenly flowed from the bottom of my heart. A ninja from a water country instantly discarded the kunai in his hand, and his face was full of pain and struggle. On one side is the village that has been living since childhood. On the other side is the enemy who has just saved all of them. The difficult choice almost made his emotions collapse instantly. I quit this battle. As soon as the voice fell, a sharp kunai pierced his body from his vest. The sharp kunai came out of the front chest, dripping with no temperature bloodline. Jonin, an elite of mist shinobi, pulled out Kuwu without any mercy. The blood of his companion splashed on his face, but it did not cause even the slightest mood swing. Whoever dares to flee before the battle is Kurigakure's betrayal. At this moment, a bang came from the valley of the end in an instant. Susanoo of Uchiha Madara crashed into the bottom of the valley. The Baki technique is one of the forbidden techniques that Orochimaru once learned in Konoha. After the guidance of the White Snake Immortal, he made his own improvements. The final complete version of the Yusaki technique, although lacking in mobility and aggressiveness. However, in terms of strength alone, it is no less than Madara's Susanoo. Before Muan went to the Whetbone Forest, Orochimaru had been arranged to take Sasuke away. After the war, he was not allowed to participate. In addition to taking care of Sasuke, the most important thing is to give him time to perfect the Yusaki technique. Muan knows that everything he has done has touched the interests of the 5 major countries. Those high levels who secretly control the world of ninja will never allow anyone to have more influence than them. Especially, this person's strength is still very strong. Not to mention the blood of the Uchiha clan. Just because of the fact that the strength is too strong, the 563 has already touched the scales of the 5 major powers. Being strong often means being out of control. Such uncertain factors must be stifled in the bud to be safe. Therefore, as early as the moment when Muan woke up, he already knew. There will eventually be a battle between him and the 5 great nations. Moreover, it was a war that swept the entire ninja world. Although his subordinates have a lot of strength, even the strongest rebel group, Akatsuki organization, is under his control. However, compared with the strength of the 5 major countries, it is still much worse. Especially the mid-level combat power is extremely lacking. At this time, we must cherish every combat power in our hands. Orochimaru's Yusaki technique is part of it. The forbidden technique, which is as powerful as a tail beast, will be able to play a huge role on the battlefield. Therefore, Muan had long told Orochimaru. He must seize the time to improve his strength. Even if the war really comes, he can't easily take action. This is a dark game he arranged randomly, but he did not expect it to play a huge role. Otherwise Orochimaru used the Yusaki technique to stop Uchiha Madara's Susanoo. Muan's action to block the meteorite is likely to fail. At that time, Muan's sighed, except for him and Uchiha Obito. Only a few people can survive that kind of attack. Moreover, the subsequent war will be even more difficult. However, in the end, it was a dark game arranged by Muan casually, which played a key role. Directly bites Susanoo of Madara tightly, not allowing him to move in Muan's direction. Even if it cuts down a huge snake head, one can regenerate in an instant. It seems that I will never die. Orochimaru raised his head and stared at Susanoo, who was struggling, with a smirking smile at the corner of his mouth. Among all the forbidden techniques in Konoha, he only picked Impure World Reincarnation and Yasaki technique. It is because the power of the Yasaki technique is very powerful. Moreover, it fits well with his Serpentine secret technique. After all, he doesn't hardly have any unique family pedigree. There is no blood limit, no special physique. Moreover, the constant use of living corpse reincarnation technique also made his soul very weak. Even Raichi Cave's sage mode, his current body can't bear it. With only the improved Yasaki technique, Madara's complete body Susanoo can be bitten. Even, it can be suppressed in terms of strength. For an Orochimaru who does not have any special ancestry, it has been very difficult. Even third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen's face was full of surprise. A pair of old eyes widened to the limit after seeing Yaki technique. Orochimaru has shown great genius since he was a child. Even, his talents surpassed Jiraiya, who is also TNO. However, this powerful Yasaki technique still shocked him. Konoha listed the Yasaki technique as the forbidden technique because although the structure of this technique is very strong, but in theory, there is no possibility of realization at all. Unexpectedly, in Orochimaru's hands, such a powerful force could burst out. It's almost like it was tailor-made for him. You reptile. Uchiha Madara's face was full of anger, and even his expression was a little angry. Susanoo stretched out his probing hand, and Bakaichang Guyu shot out in an instant. It blasted directly on Yasaki technique's body. Even Orochimaru's body was blown to pieces. However, the huge snake body only wriggled a few times. All the injuries were restored in a blink of an eye. The sneer at the corner of Orochimaru's mouth became thicker, but his eyes were extremely cold when he looked at Uchiha Madara. The prey targeted by Lion Majesty has absolutely no way to break free. Be prepared to accept failure. The huge power burst out instantly, and the huge snake head instantly. 0. In the horrified eyes of everyone, the whole Susanoo was like a sandbag. Was instantly thrown in the direction of the Valley of the End. However, Susanoo only spread his wings, and stopped in an instant when he was about to fall into the valley. A curved wide blade long knife appeared in Susao's hand instantly. You rotten snake, you should hide in the smelly ditch. As soon as Madara's voice fell, a figure appeared in front of Susao instantly. The palm of one hand is slowly extending towards him. The lavender Rinnegan in his eyes instantly met Rinnegan in his eyes. It's you, Madara, who improves the smelly ditch. Shen Luo Tianzheng. The huge repulsion broke out in an instant. Madara's Susanoo was instantly pushed by this repulsive force to the bottom of the Valley of End, and hit the ground fiercely. Boom. The sky was full of smoke and dust, instantly rising. Just as Madara just thought of getting up, she found an ice-covered star was constantly expanding in his pupils. Uchiha Muan was holding the hilt of Hiranmaru's knife, and the coldness burst out completely. Slowly pressed down in the Valley of End. There was a sharp look in his eyes, and his palm touched the surface of the meteorite again. Earth-style super aggravated rock technique. The weight of the meteorite instantly increased to an incredible degrees, and even made a shocking explosion in midair. Crush the air in front of you instantly. Muan snorted and exploded all the chakra in his body. The meteorite covered with ice is like a frosty meteor. In Uchiha Madara's horrified eyes, he flashed across the sky and hit Susanoo fiercely. Boom! The immense power burst out in an instant. The entire Valley of the End was burst in the blink of an eye. The thick cracks instantly covered the surrounding earth. The endless cold air flowed out in an instant, rendering the surrounding environment pale. In the face of this powerful force, Susanoo was torn to shreds in an instant like thin paper. Even Madara's body was frozen into a piece of solid ice in an instant. It blasted into a cloud of ice and fog. Boom! Loud rumbling noises continued to come from the depths of the earth. The entire battlefield was constantly trembling under this huge force. Above the earth, deep rifts opened. Among them, it was covered with frost and crushed ice. The violent shaking made everyone on the battlefield unstable. He looked horrified at the scene in the Valley of End. In other words, it can no longer be called the Valley of the End. A huge meteorite, the carrier's immense force, descended from the sky. Smashed hard at the bottom of the Valley of the End. That kind of powerful shock wave has exploded all the cliffs on both sides, and it has already collapsed into rubble all over the ground. The huge meteorite is deep in the bottom of the valley. The surrounding ground is deeply sunken down, forming a huge deep pit. Among them, no piece of gravel that is slightly larger can be seen, and it has been bombarded by a huge impact. The thick icy frost covered the entire valley floor, lowering the surrounding temperature to the limit. Muan is holding the hilt of Hiranmaru and sitting on top of the meteorite. The icy frost had no effect on him. It's just that the chakra has been exhausted, and now even his hands and feet are a little sore. However, there was a smile on the corner of his mouth. Being able to resist meteorites of this level is enough to prove that his strength has taken a step further compared to the peak period. Even, without the eternal Mangekyo, being able to do this step is already stronger than the self back then. Now Sasuke is slowly improving under the guard of Orochimaru. At this time, Naruto should have gone to Mount Myoboku with 4th Hokage and received the training that the Son of Prophecy should have. When the strength of the two rises to cage level, they should be able to awaken Indra and Ashura's chakra. At that time, as long as the two people's chakra is absorbed, they are regaining their pupil power. You can directly awaken your own Rinnegan and gain the power of Sage of Six Paths. As for Madara's eyes, he really looked down upon them. Except for the Wheel Tomb, they are completely useless abilities. Even Sasuke's one-eyed hand power is a bit incomparable. It is really weak. However, he is somewhat interested in Rinnegan of Sage of Six Paths. It's just that no one knows where his eyes are hidden. At the moment he was thinking, countless dust-like debris suddenly rose from the ground. In the midair, slowly formed the figure of Uchiha Madara. Base. The long knife suddenly pulled out from the meteorite, and a bright spark came in and splashed out. A azure streamer flashed across the knife in an instant. Hiranmaru was filled with the power to kill the soul in an instant. The current Uchiha Madara hasn't fully recovered yet, and his soul can be beheaded with a single stab. Fundamentally put an end to the chance of resurrection again. With a turn of the blade, Muan made a move. Although the chakra in the body was almost exhausted and close, he still straightened his back. The black hair was slowly dancing in the breeze, filled with speechless haki. At this moment, a dark shadow suddenly emerged from the ground. Flashing got into Madara's body. The speed is so fast that people are completely unexpected. The pitch black color instantly covered Madara's entire body. Muan frowned instantly. This guy, Black Zetsu. When playing against Obito, Black Zetsu appeared briefly once. However, he never heard from him after that. Even Muan once asked Luli to collect this information. After all, Black Zetsu is the will of Otsutsuki Kagaya, maybe something will come up to bring that troublesome woman back to life. If Kagaya is resurrected before Muan's plan is completed, it will be tricky. However, even the forces that traded for the underground gold exchange did not find any information about Black Zetsu. It's like a shadow lurking in the dark. I don't know when it will suddenly come out and make something happen. Kill this guy while now. Kagaya, it should never be resurrected. Just as Muan was about to make a move, Black Zetsu suddenly spoke up. Uchiha Muan, as long as you let Madara live, I can help you gain the power of Sage of Six Paths. Black Zetsu has been observing Uchiha Muan in secret during this time. I want to understand what his purpose is for waking up this time. However, the more you observe him, the more frightened. No matter what purpose Muan is for, he has already gathered a huge force. Even, it can compete with the 5 ninja nations today. It's worse than it was in the past. Moreover, the current reincarnation of Indra was held in his hands. If he allows him to kill Madara completely, he plans to resurrect Kagaya with a 1,000-year plan, and he will fall again. This kind of thing must never happen in front of his eyes. To resurrect Kagaya, Madara must become a complete 10 Tails Jinchuriki. In addition, he must absorb the sacred tree into his body. He must not be killed easily. Therefore, he will show up in front of Muan, otherwise, he would be more willing to be a secret conspirator. With the huge knowledge he already knows, and the plan years, Yoruichi will be resurrected step by step. A smile appeared on the corner of Muyan's mouth, and his eyes were full of contempt when he looked at Black Zetsu. Sage of Six Paths. There is no temptation at all for this kind of easily attainable thing. The blade turned, Zanpakuto in his hand tore through the sky instantly. Wait a moment. Before Black Zetsu had finished speaking, Hirinmaru was cut in half instantly. However, at the last moment, he still moved Madara's body from the ground. Even with Muyan's perception, he didn't feel a trace of chakra. Moreover, even Black Zetsu's beheaded body recovered instantly after wriggling in place for a while. After all, this guy's body was created by yin-yang escape. It is a life form born of chakra materialization, similar to the tail beast. Nothing can kill him except yin and yang escape, even if it kills his soul, in that group of energy. A new soul will still be born. Moreover, it is a brand new Black Zetsu that no one has ever known. This kind of thing, it seems that after obtaining Rinnegan, it is necessary to kill it in one breath. Just as Black Zetsu was thinking about it, the two halves of Black Zetsu blocking the ground disappeared instantly on the ground. Not even a trace of chakra fluctuations can be felt. Disappeared. The appearance and disappearance of Black Zetsu are almost instantaneous. Just rescued Uchiha Madara, and disappeared instantly after leaving a word. Nothing superfluous was done at all. Although there are reasons for Muyan Chakra's excessive consumption. However, if Isshin wanted to keep him, Black Zetsu wouldn't be able to slip away under his nose so easily. Uchiha Madara is not only a key to resurrecting Kagaya, but also one of the best stepping stones he arranged. Becoming the Jinchuriki of 10 Tails can indeed gain very powerful power. Even, it directly has the strength to rival Sage of Six Paths. However, the risk is too high. Let's not mention that there is a Kagaya Heim who may borrow your body to resurrect sometime. It is the weakness that the beast will die if it is pulled out, and Muyan feels very difficult to accept. However, it is impossible to absorb the power in front of you. The best way is to make Madara the Jinchuriki of 10 Tails. After that, using the system to seize all the abilities he possessed. In this way, you can improve your strength without taking risks. Madara is just a must-have for his success. At this moment, several figures appeared beside him instantly. Looking around the environment in the Valley of End, everyone's face is full of fear. Senju Hashirama was even more worried, looking everywhere in the already broken valley. What about Madara? What did you do to Uchiha Madara? Hashirama's eyes were full of anger, and he asked Uchiha Muyan, who was sitting on top of the meteorite. Madara and him have been friends like brothers since they were young. After decades of falling in love and killing each other, the bond between the two has deepened to the limit. Seeing Madara's figure disappear in front of her eyes, her heart was instantly filled with anxiety and anger. Could it be that Madara's soul has been newly killed by Muyan? Even Tobirama and Ghost Lantern Huanyu on the side were shocked. The strength of Uchiha Muyan, none of them can stand alone. Only Madara used Rinnegan's abilities, which caused him a huge trouble. However, even the ability that is close to the end of the world failed to bring him even a trace of wounds. It just made him consume a huge chakra. Even Madara, the only one who could cause him harm, was the soul that was beheaded by him. How can an enemy of this strength be defeated? Brother, let's go together. He has consumed a lot of chakra now, and he has reached the limit. Tobirama screamed, and handprints instantly formed in his hands. Water-style water-severing wave. A sharp water blade shot out from his mouth in an instant. This kind of powerful water style, it is reasonable to say that it is impossible to cause any harm to Muyan. However, it is not right now. Once the ninja's chakra is consumed too much, the body and spirit will be abnormally weak. Even if all the chakra is consumed, it is directly the end of death. Sarutobi Hiruzen's old eyes fixed on Muyan's body. The chakra in the body has been completely mobilized. Once second generation's water style, it can cause even a little harm to Uchiha Muyan. He will shoot with all his strength and kill him directly in one breath. Even Senju Hashirama on one side is secretly accumulating power. Once Muan showed a bit of unbearable performance, they would all shoot in an instant and work together to kill him. Facing Tobarama's attack, Muan's mouth showed a smile. He even yawned in front of everyone. It is indeed a little tired. Rinnegan in his hand waved casually and directly blocked the water-severing wave with the knife face. The bitter cold air instantly froze the entire stream of water. Even Senju Tobarama's body was covered with a dense layer of frost in an instant. The blade's blade shook for a while, and instantly shook it into a cloud of ice and fog. Above the sharp blade, a blue streamer flashed past. The blade turned, and immediately let go. It thrust into the chest of Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was about to attack. Sarutobi Hiruzen's old eyes widened to the limit in an instant, and the look on his entire face quickly disappeared. The whole body collapsed into dust all over the floor. Only a strange corpse fell into the thick debris. When Rinnegan fell from his body, and the sharp tip of the knife sank deep into the rock on the ground, making a clear sound. However, it is still very easy to get rid of your gangsters. A smile appeared on Muan's face, as if facing his old friend. As for the strong self-confidence in the smile, there is no murderousness at all. However, this smile directly makes everyone's creeps. Even if chakra is almost exhausted, even if it is exhausted, it can still smash Tobarama's body while talking and laughing, and can kill Hiruzen's soul in one fell swoop. This kind of strength is as terrifying as a god. Even Senju Hashirama's forehead oozes a thin layer of cold sweat. Lost. In this battle of the ninja world that almost shocked the entire ninja world, in the face of Muan's absolute strength, they had no chance to win at all. What if you wipe out all the wandering ninjas on the battlefield? As long as Muan is not dead, it spreads as he saves the ninja allied forces today. There are as many troops as he wants at this level. Even the group of S-rank rebels organized by Akatsuki, or Orochimaru. They are not their opponents. There was only one opponent from beginning to end. Uchiha Muan. As long as he is still alive, this war will never be won. Already lost. Hashirama's face instantly became strangely ugly, and he grabbed Tobarama, who had just restored it. Tobarama, we lost, retreat. Tobarama's face was also struggling, and his eyes were full of unwillingness and hatred when he looked at Muan Li Wanghao. However, he also understood in his heart. Just relying on the strength of these few of them, it is not Uchiha Muan's opponent at all. The only way now is to withdraw from the team and save strength. After that, he will use the dragon life of Kalyan village to reincarnate, and he will truly resurrect the strong man who turned his own dirty soil. Give full play to all the strengths before life. After that, in a decisive battle with Muan. However, everyone has an emotion in their hearts that they themselves do not want to admit. Fear. Fear of Uchiha Muan's strength. Go. After gritted his teeth and said this sentence, full of unwilling words. The silhouettes of Tobarama and Hashirama jumped out of the Valley of End in an instant. The ghost lantern on the side also wanted to use the body flicker technique to retreat. A few pieces of white paper, but instantly fell from the sky to him. The white paper drifted slowly from the sky, and each piece of paper was filled with thick chakra. In the shocked eyes of Ghost Lantern Huan Yu, there was a crash. Boom, boom, boom. The continuous explosions broke his body to pieces in an instant. Almost half of his body has been blown into dust. A lion majesty flashed across the air in an instant. Sharp fangs bit his neck fiercely. A strange black curse imprint spread across his body instantly, making his whole body immobile. Conan's body fell from the sky in an instant, and the origami wings behind him instantly converged. He waved his hand to drink out a piece of paper, and instantly wrapped the whole body of Ghost Lantern Wanyu in it. A sealing charm was interspersed in the sky full of paper, and suddenly stuck on the body of Ghost Lantern Wanyu. The technique like a chain instantly spreads throughout the body. All the members of Akatsuki's organization appeared in the broken valley. Conan also took the Rinnegan plugged into the ground very intimately and handed it to Muan's hand. Boss, your posture of being hard against the meteorite just now is so handsome. It's an art. There was an excited smile on Deidara's face, and there was deep admiration in her eyes. This is the first time he has seen Uchiha Muan. Before, he was more in agreement with the view of Tai soil before he joined Akatsuki's organization. However, it is only temporarily added. He didn't make up his mind until he witnessed the scene where Muan lifted a meteorite from the sky. From now on, even if he dares to leave, he will not leave. The shock that the scene brought to him was too deep. It simply left an indelible impression in his heart. Even the image of Muan is already a myth in his heart. Become synonymous with art. Hoshigaki Kisame grinned, showing an ugly smile. Although I am a little self-conscious, I still want to discuss the knife skills with the leader if I have the opportunity. However, don't use the knife in your hand. My Samahata is terribly afraid of him. Just when he was talking, on his shoulders, the muscles were really shaking gently. It seems to be very afraid of Zanpakuto in Muyan's hands. Everyone in Akatsuki's organization had an expression of excitement on their faces. Came to Muyan's side and talked to him. For him, a leader who has never managed an organization, he looks very respectful. After all, strength case as a person's greatest capital. Even Conan's unsmiling face had a quiet smile. The eyes that looked at Muyan were filled with excitement and admiration. Muyan took the Hiranmaru handed by Conan, and retracted the knife back into its sheath with a twist of his wrist. There was also a faint smile on his face, and the whole body relaxed. Let's talk about the gossip. Let's end the war first. On the battlefield at this time, almost all the grassroots ninjas of the 5 major countries were fighting. All impure world reincarnation people have already left the battlefield under the leadership of Hashirama. Only the predecessor of the 5 ninja villages are still on the battlefield. However, it was only a command, but he did not dare to take action at all. Once they took action, the rebels organized by Akatsuki wouldn't be able to watch. Even Jiraiya can only stand opposite Tsunade on the battlefield. Tsunade, after this battle, Uchiha Muyan will become a hero among many people. The 5 great ninja nations will lose their hearts and their cohesion will be unprecedentedly reduced. Is this the result you want? Looking at the former companions in front of me, they walk to the opposite side of myself. Jiraiya has mixed feelings in her heart. Konoha does have a lot of darkness. Even among the 5 major countries, it is not completely clean. But, after all, it is the village where I grew up and lived. Even if there are too many nonsense, I don't want others to get involved. Jiraiya, you and I are the same, Orochimaru is the same, they are all taking different paths to implement their own Shindo. The direction is different, the end is destined to be different. Just look at the respective endings. Tsunade gave a warning glance at Muyan's direction, and in the brown eyes, the tall and straight figure was clearly reflected. That direction is the end point she wants to reach. Even if the road ahead is slim, she will grit her teeth and insist on walking. The corner of Jiraiya's mouth finally showed a wry smile. Konoha Sanin, who was famous in the ninja world, finally took a completely different path. However, as Tsunade said, as long as you implement your own ninja and go on diligently, you are a qualified ninja. As for which road to choose and where the end point is, no one will know if you don't go down personally. Finally, the police glanced at Orochimaru who was standing next to Muyan, and Jiraiya's figure disappeared instantly. Konoha's ninja, all evacuate the battlefield. The strong voice instantly spread throughout the battlefield. The shadows in the other 4 ninja villages also gave orders to retreat. The war has already reached this point, and there is no need to continue fighting. Even the ancestors who wrote Impure World Reincarnation have already left the battlefield. No matter how hard you tried, it was a failure after all. Under the leadership of their respective shadows, the ninja coalition forces of the 5 major countries withdrew to their own country in an instant. Even the seriously injured and dying wounded can't take care of them. The wandering ninjas led by Luli burst into a wave of screaming. We won this war. The trifles of the 5 great nations, even their seriously injured companions have been left behind. Sure enough, they are all selfish fools. Sooner or later, under the leadership of Mr. Muyan, we will remove all these corrupt high levels and build a new order. Laozi is injured. Medical ninja, where is the medical ninja? Luli also showed a smile on the face of the 5-power ninja coalition withdrawing. The whole body, as if relieved, sat down directly on the ground. Long hours of fighting and command have exhausted her. Now suddenly relax, not even wanting to move a little finger. Just silently looking in the direction of Muyan, an inexplicable look flashed in his eyes. Master Chianjina, You were right, Master Muan is indeed a legendary ninja with a unique charm, a very good man. At this moment, the figure of Might Guy suddenly appeared not far from Muan. There was an excited smile on his face, but his eyes flashed with admiration. Under Akatsuki's vigilant gaze, he did not panic. Say a word to Muan very calmly. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.